Okay, I have clicked.
I gotta get the tweets set up right.
I'm already live at 10, so everyone heard you being retarded.
Ah, God, I'm naked. Someone prepared.
Hello, everyone. How do you do? Let me get chat on screen. Hey. So, SJW content, that's shit, right? I always say when black
Yes.
people are in my TV shows.
I hate when my shows are filled with SJW nonsense.
Like, police stopping a black person, that is definitely SJW.
I know a police in a bad neighborhood just asking someone for a black person their ID when they're being the aggressor in a conversation with a white person. You know, that totally doesn't happen at all. Never.
Never has.
Nonsense.
It's really forced, guys. I don't know why you're defending it. You Marvel stands defending the SJW nonsense. That is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Where is Buzz? Buzz
You know,
is
it
gonna
would be
arrive
it would be
later.
one thing. It would be one thing if you were like in Beverly Hills and it was a primarily white neighborhood and everyone's just calm and nice and the cops come up and are like, "Why is this black person bothering you?" But it's like narratively justified.
They literally say that. It's like, "Sir, is this black person annoying you?"
Is his
Is
existence
this
annoying?
subhuman piece of crap annoying?
To be fair,
Jay Longbones acting like the cop said, "Why is this parasite on humanity talking to your?"
I'm just saying, if you want to be blind to the reality that is racial profiling, you could be my guest.
I mean, I am your guest right now.
oh my
Oh,
god.
okay.
But yeah, let
Oh.
me introduce everyone so chat knows. So yeah, hey everyone. Today we're talking about today we're doing a very different stream, talking about a very controversial topic, I'd say. But yeah, today we have Editron
Hi.
and Thought Theater.
Hey,
Thanks. And Zodiac.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm new here.
Yeah, and we have also Marcus.
Special guest.
Hi, Marcus. Hello, and Marcus. How do you do? Yes, I introduced myself 3 times. So, yes.
That's the name, guys.
wonderful.
Slowly but surely, Marcus's is going to just infect everyone, and we're all going to be Marcus, and we're all going to talk about guys, Legion, and that's it. That's the.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Nerdrotic calls season 3 of Legion SJW, and that's why season 3 is bad. He
What?
says it so.
What?
I know, right?
I'm just
Did I send you what
confused.
Noah Hawley said about David in season 3? Because I feel like that's the only reason why a Nerdrotic would say that season 3 is SJW. But either way, it's not, and it's not bad either. So it's my favorite season. But yeah,
Nice.
we already have 17 people here. But yeah, how is everyone? Marcus, and Marcus, aka the good, the bad, and the ugly. I agree. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about like what makes SJW content, I guess, or what is SJW content. Buzz is gonna be arriving later. But I'd say he's like the main voice in terms of this, so we'll wait to cover the video we're gonna cover when he arrives.
Pog.
So
Yeah.
that means we could talk about the latest episode.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Buzz
True,
is the
we
only
can.
one who hasn't seen it.
Okay, yeah, actually, that's
point.
great. Great segue,
Let's
Jeb.
do it.
Okay, yeah, so
Um,
that was fantastic.
Oh yeah. I did not think they would go that hard that quick, but they definitely did.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, we're spoiling the newest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, so if
If you
want
haven't
to,
watched it,
yeah,
get the fuck out of here. We
yeah,
want to
just
talk
You
about
got-
mute
it.
us
Come
until
on.
got
Buzz is
5
in the call.
you got 5 seconds. 5, 4. fuck
Time is
you,
subjective, so I say get
2,
out now.
1. You're retarded. There you go.
Thanks, Jeb. So yeah, John Walker killed somebody, the fucking Captain America shield in the end of the episode, and that was like the best thing ever.
It's the best thing the show's done, I think, so far.
I'd
That
say so,
last
yeah.
sort of 5 minutes was really good. I loved
Oh yeah,
it.
they built
like-
the tension really well.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Hey, Jeb, do you wanna
it
talk about
almost
how-
sounded.
No, do you want to finish your thought?
Yeah. After Lamar died, it almost sounded like a variation of the Winter Soldier theme started playing for
I was
Walker.
thinking that. I was thinking if they were going to, like, at any point after John took the super serum, they were going to play the Winter Soldier thing. I think that would have been really cool. Like, a nice little, like, the music having sort of like a thematic relevance, you know? I think that would be
I think
pretty
it
cool.
did. Like, I think that's exactly kind of what they did, because after when everyone's sort of running away, it's like the world like starts to get a bit muffled, and then you just have this one like rising tense tone with sort of a screech to it, which is it was like had a bit more bass than the Winter Soldier theme. But I think, I mean, I may be wrong, but no, I definitely thought it was there and intentional.
We have 2 episodes to go, so there's a chance they could still do that, and I hope they do, because I think that'd be really cool, nice little tie-in.
I
to
mean,
the
should
whole
we
Super
actually
Soldier
like
Serum thing.
use the theme itself instead of like a variation? Just should really make it clear that he's basically.
Either
making
I'm
the
fine with
Indian person.
either way.
Right. Yeah. Well.
That bloody cap shield is going to be
Oh.
an iconic image.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's
Yes.
such a
Absolutely.
fantastic shot.
It did effect.
I love it.
What's annoying me is everyone going, "Oh, they sympathise to terrorists." I'm like, you didn't watch this episode, and did
No,
you?
I was when I was watching it, I did fear because I still have because I'm still doing my WandaVision video. I'm still having sort of like flashbacks to how they justified everything that Wanda did.
Mhm.
I'm still like, please don't justify the terrorists, and they don't. They're making a lot of work in like what they're doing, like in terms of killing people is wrong, but you can understand
end-
their cause. You
yeah,
understand their
the-
feelings.
Yeah. So much so that that's what Falcon says to Carly, which is
Mhm.
like, well,
Exactly.
I sympathize with the cause, but the way you're going about it is wrong. And he almost
Yeah,
convinces
like
her when he
I
says, "Oh,
like
I'm
they
sure
agree
your
with
mother would've."
what they're fighting for. How they're doing it is just terrible. Like literally, the last episode, she blew up a building and killed
Full of people,
people,
yeah.
injured people, and all that. You know, like
Well, yeah, that's kind of how that's how Sam traps her in her speech almost, where she's like, "You made me say something that sounded bad," and he's like, "No, it is bad.
no,
This is what you're
because yeah,
doing."
because you've literally killed innocent people.
Well, that's the thing. Sam makes her sound kind of like Zemo at that moment, where she's like, "Oh, but they were in my way. I had to do what I had to do," and it's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
tricked me into saying that," but it's not a trick. And it's like the dialogue was so good, like the way they show how like, of course, what she wants to achieve is good. She's fighting for a good cause, but the way she's going about it is really bad. And even says, "Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure your
it's
mother
really
wouldn't have
fun.
liked it either." Where I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, they don't justify what she literally does. What she does, they don't. If Sam like, you know what, I think you've got a point, and I think where you're doing it, thumbs up.
Hmm.
There's nothing even close to that. Obviously, what I said was very. They're never going to have those exact words, but the actual like, they're not going to have Sam actually justify the fact that she's killing people, because
They never
that would be
do
mad. That would be
Yeah.
that would be a massive character assassination on Sam's part,
Yeah.
considering all we know about him from every appearance he's been in
Mhm.
the MCU. That'd just be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, just
Well, it's like I
Yeah.
think sort of the dialogue online about what constitutes as like sympathism or not is acknowledging the idea almost, because like, especially with the Twitter online discourse about the show, it's like if Sam or Bucky were to show any sympathy at all towards the Flag Smashers, even with their ideology, that would count. And I think that's what they're getting wrong.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think a lot of people have this perception that terrorisms are, well, terrorists are pure evil, and it's very black and white. That, for
Mhm.
example, let's take
It's a very narrow way of looking at it.
yeah, it's like take in our country we had the what were they called? Northern Ireland. RA. They were fighting for the unification or something to better improve their country, but they were killing people in the process. So what we did was understand their motivations, understand their cause, and we came to a peace treaty. Right now that's under scrutiny, but that's how it resolved. So what people need to understand is terrorists aren't, it's not like pure evil, you can't read with them.
They're
It's
not
not like,
the
let's say
Snyder
them up.
Cut makes them out to be, where they say we are terrorists because no terrorist thinks they are terrorists.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not, a lot of the time it's not like the Nazi regime, it's not like Adolf Hitler where it's unreasonable. A lot of the times it's actually resolved peacefully and understanding what are they trying to achieve and how can we come to a compromise. And what this show does really well is showcasing both sides of the equation. You got how they're being affected due to the change and what led them to these radical behaviours. But then you got the other side that's trying to explain it isn't that simple. We can't just offer all this, but we could try and help you. And these radical behaviours are wrong. And it's not going definitively what their cause is wrong or what the Western society calls is wrong. It's making clear that the actions have major repercussions.
I agree. Yeah, they're doing like very nuanced, which is funny because people like Jay Longbottom were tweeting like, "Oh, this show is trying to be grounded and talk about social issues, but the MCU can't talk about these nuanced, grounded aspects because it's the MCU." And then the show is doing exactly that, and I'd say it's doing a really good job at it, to be honest.
Yeah, and I hate this whole notion of this show can't be political. That's kind of come now, or this show is too political.
It's so
I'm like,
weird considering, like, I feel like this show in some ways should be, because of it's very much focusing on the blips, effects what it's had on the world. So it to ignore being political would be really weird
Of course.
not
to
even
me.
not even that. The whole notions about Captain America, a political symbol.
Mhm.
It's enriched.
He's
in
literally the
politics.
symbol of America. Like, it's in his name. He's Captain America.
Yeah, everything that
Do you
Captain
not
America.
think they're going to have this
John
idea
Walker.
do you not think they're going to have this idea of, like, the symbol of America, And that's what this show is trying to explore with John Walker, and how there's a wrong way of going about it, and I think that's what's so great about John Walker's character. Like, I absolutely love everything they've done with him in the show. I was about to say earlier, Jeb, do you like how, I think it was after episode 2, how I literally predicted what they were going to do, but they went to the extreme.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, it was going to either be because I had the prediction of he already had the serum, but that was going to be the other option probably. So I'm quite glad they went with the
I'm
other
fine with him
option.
not having the serum at first, because I think with the beginning of episode 2, they pretty much established that he is like a very highly trained, he's very good at what he does, like one of the best free men of honors, all that kind of stuff, and we see him be very good with the shield, and I'm kind of fine with that if he's like established as like a very skillful person, more so than the average soldier.
I mean, they say that he passed his training and that he did
Yeah.
that he put a lot of effort into.
He's very good at. I think they have a line. He's really smart as well. He's very athletically well suited, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I rewatched the first 3 episodes.
I think it's
last
totally
night,
fine
to
with
say
him,
that.
not being super soldier at first, but obviously with episode 2, him kind of just being pathetic against the super soldier flag smashers, which is completely fine. It's all really good stuff, and that him kind of needing, in a way, this serum to have any sort of chance, but then he does it the completely wrong way, and literally he does murder the guy because he didn't do anything to Lamar. All he did was hold him,
And
back.
He decapitated the guy.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah, I mean,
he
yeah,
didn't have
exactly.
to do
He
that.
literally, yeah. Well, does he decapitate him, or was it he
I
put
think he
hold-
decapitated
They
him.
don't show his dead
I
body,
thought
but
it
I
was
think
a
he was
chest.
decapitated. I think they
Yeah,
decapitated
I'm fine
because
with either way.
if it was the chest, there'd be a lot of like guts spilled out and everything. Like
That's true.
bones.
That's
like
true.
that
Either way,
that
I think,
final
yeah.
shot of his body on the ground is like you see everything except for his head. His head is the one thing
Yeah,
that's obscured. So
True,
I
true,
think
true.
that's pretty implicit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
makes sense.
before we move on this conversation, I just want to say, because Shandy is in chat, he made a fantastic video on Spider-Man 1, which I'm linking in chat right now if people want to watch. It's really good. Breaks down the film. I recommend. Another thing, I saw someone say asking if Zemo has gotten his mask yet, if it looks stupid. He did get his mask on episode 3, and it looks really cool. And I really like the way they did it, with him with him using his mask to hide who he is in that scene where he kills everyone to save Bucky and Sam, which is, I say, is really cool. And another thing, Douglas Watson said, on a similar note, I like Zemo on this episode, and I want to say, yeah, Zemo was just the highlight of the show, I'd say. He's fucking phenomenal. Like, every scene
That
with him is
scene where
fucking
he
fantastic.
smashed all the serum was so cathartic and satisfying.
I
Like I
know.
was
Yeah.
cheering that on.
Yeah. The music
Oh,
and the way
oh.
it's shot and everything, it's so good.
Yeah, I had
Oh.
made the comment to Marcus that like Lex Luthor's theme when that scene was happening would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, I didn't fucking think of that. Oh my god. Oh.
Tits
I
about
want
your
to add
cunt.
something.
Just
I'm
said
gonna
the
wanna
edit
bottom.
add-
that right now.
I want to.
Oh, you legend.
I want to add something that the show did quite nicely. So people have been using the fact that John Walker shouldn't snap because he has the 3 medals of honor. Is it medals of honor?
Yes, Medal of Honor.
Also, okay. So that's for the acts of valor. What they do raise though, it's under the requirements for the US, and it implies they didn't do morally righteous things to get them, just in service of the country to help win the war.
Which is something I really like when people make people show how the military, US military especially, how they're not really moral and how they always go about things with like just do anything to achieve an end, which I'd say justifies a lot of what John Walker does with this character. How his
And
morality
also
is kind of
it-
corrupt at this point because of that.
Also, because it's going on the Afghan, which I assume they refer the Afghan war, it also explains his lack of temperament, I mean, with terrorists, because he has a short fuse. So it could be just the PTSD recalling from that.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think of that.
Big brain.
Yeah. It's good. It's subtle kind of characterization. It's stuff that you pick up on where, like, the more you pay attention, like, the more you rewatch. I really like it. I really like this show. I don't know what to say. The characters
Yeah.
are just really good.
Usually I hate social commentary in shows because I find it very on the nose. And at points this is very direct in how it's doing it, where it needs to be, I find. But there's a lot of subtlety that people aren't noticing behind all of it. Especially about toxic patriarchy, which is a thing that really needs to be known right now, is that our countries have flaws, and they've been having flaws for decades. They're not perfect.
What?
And that's the whole point of Zemo, to an extent.
Mhm.
And how they're trying to establish certain links with Zemo and Falcon in the episode to showcase Zemo has some good points being made. He just go about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah, that's kind of the thing where Zemo is you can clearly understand where he's coming from. It's just the issue. It comes from how he approaches it, because well, yeah, he tried to destroy the Avengers before, and he clearly doesn't really. He clearly has nothing against killing people, and Falcon is like, no, I'm gonna talk to Carly. Whereas when Zemo gets to Carly, he just shoots her like straight away. So it's just a very clear difference of approach, but not a difference in morals, I'd say.
yeah, I just think people
Well,
are
it's like-
getting. I'll let you
Yeah.
finish. What?
Okay, so what I was gonna go after that is I do think there is a little bit of difference in the sense that the reason why Falcon and Bucky were opposed to killing Carly, like because they definitely aren't opposed to killing if that's the solution.
Mhm.
Like if there's no other solution, that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
The difference is Zemo thinks that that is the solution because Carly is gone. Period. They think that there's some leeway in there that they can sort of influence her to think a bit more rationally, but like there really is no difference in that sense. The only difference is Zemo thinks she's gone, and so he's still operating by the same moral framework Sam and Bucky are in this scenario. So I don't think like we should fault him necessarily for doing what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think a lot of people were kind of jumping down on it as SJW or anything political it seems to be doing is SJWs because it's criticizing mainly Western society, it appears, but a lot of the current values that countries like the UK or the US have, and that means that drastic change is needed and people don't like change. It's a natural human instinct to oppose change. And that's where I think it's coming from. It's like it's hard to admit, okay, we have these issues, they're not gone, and we have to keep evolving. So when media does that, they're like, well, no, that can't be the case, almost. And the reality is, people need to understand media reflects today's values, like media reflected past values, and it will with future values. So I don't understand why people get so caught up by it.
It seems like a lot of people think that having social commentary, having like saying something about real world is an issue inherently that makes it SJW or whatever, which is like really retarded, especially when you think like okay, I guess you could I guess a lot of people say, oh, the MCU is just supposed to be a fun escapism and like it's making it political, but it's like that's what you want of the MCU. The MCU has always had some political messages. Like,
Are we forgetting how political Civil War was?
right,
Right.
It's the best
Yeah.
MCU
Like
film.
that entire film is built around the fact that everything the Avengers have done affects the world in a negative way in some aspects. As good as they are, and how great their intentions are, and how they do save the world, there are consequences to what they do, and that is the entire fucking point of what Civil War is saying. And it has consequences.
Oh, and it's like when you have something like even Iron Man, or I'd say to a bigger extent like Incredible Hulk, where it completely shows how like, oh, the military, they're not good. Like they're painted clearly as the bad guys in Incredible Hulk especially. And it's like, well, that's a political message, but people weren't complaining about it then. Why are they complaining about it now? And it's like, well, it's because it's 2008. People didn't have a problem with content being political. Now they do because SJW, I guess. But like, even if you have something like, and Jeb and Zod can confirm this, where it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd say that's the most escapist the MCU gets in terms of like, well, other than like I'd say the Guardians films, where it's like these characters bouncing off each other and it's a lot of fun and it has like that normal Joss Whedon type of humor, but it also deals with a lot of political stuff, especially in like season 4 with what's his name, the director, I forgot his name.
Jeffrey Mace.
Yes, Director Mace, where it's like, yeah, they clearly deal with political stuff and in that, and it's part of the MCU. Like the MCU never refrained from being political. And it never will. Like even Avengers and with how they deal.
The first
with,
fucking film was political because of literally all the stuff with Stark Industries.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, and then you have like the
have been-
Avengers with Tony. Tony goes against Shield, and he makes Cap also go against Shield to like see what they're hiding from them, and that causes conflict. Where it's like they don't really agree with the way Shield does things, which is why like Tony never fully agrees with what with Shield's modus operandi. Like it's really like it's clear that the MCU, it doesn't refrain from being political. Like it has a lot of films that are very political inherently. But I guess it's bad now.
It's bad
Because it's the wrong
because Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, see,
And apparently it's badly written.
that's another thing. I always question, what if the politics were more on the flip side? What if they're more conservative? Would
I'd
the
say people would
outlook
be
be the same?
people would be saying that the show is based or whatever because that's how it works, I guess.
Mhm.
Because that
Oh,
that's what
100%.
I'm.
The 100% would be.
And that's me saying as
It's
someone
just
who
like
used to be a conservative. Like I don't care which way the politics swings as long as it's done done well
As long as it's
within
well
the show.
written, I don't care.
Yep.
Whether it's political or not, if as long as it's well written for the most part, and all the political stuff within the context makes sense, I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally fine with whatever the show wants to do, because every show, every film, every piece of content, it has an agenda and it has something to say. It's whether you can actually have the talent to actually write it well. And that's where every time we talk about something, we have our either issues or praise for something. The fact that it has something that is political and politically relevant in like today, that's not a knock on it. It's all about what it actually does, what it has to say, and how it actually does it. Just because it's in it, that does not mean that is valid criticism.
Right. It's like at some point you have to separate preference from execution. You know, it's like the piece of media can say something you fundamentally disagree with, but that's not something that can necessarily be criticized from a storytelling like in-universe standpoint if the way it's written makes sense. Ultimately, that's the goal of something. It just has to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's to probably cite an example of that. New York's Finest episode. You're either going to disagree with the Punisher or you're going to disagree with Daredevil. But
And
either way, you
the
understand
episode
both
is
sides.
fantastic because it's raising a question of like which way do you think works best, which way do you think is gonna work better, and it's like of course you're gonna disagree with one of those, but it is consistent with their characters and how they got to that situation, so it's like it's not bad, it's actually fantastic. But I'd say that's like an example where it's like they're showing two sides. Where it's like the example I was gonna use, it's Mr. Robot, which Alice in chat is gonna like that I'm mentioning Mr. Robot. Where the main character, he's like an anarchist, like full on, the bro leftist anarchist who wants to like end capitalism, and it's like the show is, I'd say, argue the best written show I've ever seen. But the main character, he's a character that speaks his mind a lot, not like directly, but yeah, he speaks his mind a lot with how he sees the world. Like the show, it starts with a monologue of him talking about like these big corporations and capitalism and everything, and he criticizes a lot of like capitalist values. And it's like, I'm ANCAP. I of course defend capitalism, but the fact that this character in this show says something like that, it doesn't turn me off because it is consistent with this character, and like I don't really mind that he's saying something I disagree with. It's more of, well, the show is really well written. If he speaks his mind in a way that I don't like, it doesn't really matter. Whereas even
Like
if it's
how
not disagreeable.
naive and like self-focused do you have to be to think that the show you're watching somehow has a responsibility to align with your personal, political, and moral perspectives? Like that's not the show's responsibility.
Yeah, like it's because like people on the side of the aisle that say, "Oh, it's all SJW and everything," they are saying like, "Oh, I like freedom of speech, freedom of expression," but it's freedom of expression to also show a side that they disagree with, of like in like politics or social issues or anything like that. And I guess a lot of people really don't like when their beliefs are challenged. When, I don't know, I feel like challenging beliefs are just really good to create a better discourse and change people's minds to like
Right.
have like a bit more better understanding of each side, I guess. So yeah,
Big
that's all.
yes.
Just say Falcon and Winter Soldier is good.
Yeah, it's just annoying
Yeah.
to see. The thing is as well, I don't want to try and be too condescending to these people. I also want to see how much politics they do know, because I want to see how that influences their outlook. such as how simplistic do they view politics? Are they aware of the complexities of it? Because Marcus would definitely know, being ANCAP, it is very fucking complex when you get into it, and there's so many different aspects to consider.
Yeah, people miss the nuance of how politics works, where it's like it's very not black and white. It's the one of the least black and white things you could have. You have this entire spectrum of stuff, and you don't know which like it's hard to gauge what like exactly what is.
Gauge.
Sorry, yeah, I've only read the word, I never heard gauge. Whether like something is bad or not, you have to like take into consideration of a lot of factors. Or it's if people just miss that and they go, oh, he's a right winger, he's left winger, he's centrist, I guess, and that's it. Instead of actually looking more into the issues at hand, and I feel like anything that tries to bring a more nuanced approach to this is viewed in a negative light, which I'd say is really like counterproductive to say that it like to say that it's negative to show nuance like from either side, because of course because like for example they have in Life is Strange a game that I call like very lefty in terms of like very liberal ideals and everything that they show, like they them defending gun control in the game or whatever, but they have a character who's a full-on conservative, and he actually like he's painted as a bad guy throughout most of the game until in the last episode it's revealed that no, he's actually a great person. He's just he just had some bad experiences in his life, so but which he's trying to grow from. He's trying to become a better person, and so with that the like it's showing a side of like, well, not everyone that disagrees with you is a bad person. And just to say an example from like the right wingers, and then if you show someone like a left winger, he disagrees with you, but he's not a bad person. Like people can disagree with you, but also have like be more not morally repugnant as people think they are. And I think a lot of people reject that idea because they want to live in their little bubble of self-indulgence, I guess.
Honestly, I would say that Falcon and Winter Soldier is by definition black and white, considering you have Bucky and Falcon, and they're represented purely by their skin color.
Oh,
so
of
yeah,
course,
it's
yeah.
a very black and white show.
Just because you said that, I'm gonna show on stream the thumbnail of the video we're covering today, because I feel like
I don't know what it is.
okay.
So I don't think Griffin will see this, but I'm gonna throw him under the bus. He said that episode 4 did the trope of sacrificing the black character so the white man can fulfill his destiny.
What? But so
In terms
wait,
of
so John
Lamar
Walker,
dying.
so Joan Walker's
That's
destiny
white
was to
destiny.
become a killer, a murderer. Griffin, dear Lord. For fuck's sake.
It's an interesting fact.
Let me see if I can find the actual message so I can just quote it directly.
You're really
Yeah,
throwing him under
here
the
we go.
bus.
No, I really am. He said, I don't know. I feel like Walker would have done what he did if Lamar was just on the brink of death. It's also just bad optics that the black sidekick was sacrificed so the white guy could fulfill his destiny. There you go. There's the criticism.
Amazing. Fucking fantastic. Gotta love when video essayists say the weirdest shit about about a film. Criticism, but, you know, whatever. But
I like how. Oh, there's a lot. Just to reference something in chat, as Zachary just said, "Are we declaring war on EFAB?" I like this sort of thing. Like we're declaring war on EFAB, even though none of like Mauler or Rags, Fringy, whatever, they haven't actually seen the show. It's all just J Longbone Drink.
no, they
Kill
have.
versus
Rags and
Babyface.
Muller watched the first 3 episodes
And they don't
said
like
it was
it.
terrible. Yeah.
Which one did they say?
They watched the
All
first
of
3
them.
episodes and they said the show is terrible and that they're not gonna bother to continue watching it.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
I usually
don't get
take
it,
when
but-
they say something is terrible pretty seriously. So I'm curious to hear their criticisms, but based on
Oh
like
yeah, same.
Marcus and I try to watch it with as close of an eye as we can, and spot inconsistencies where there are, and like there's certainly nothing to the point where it'd be classified as like unwatchable, which is kind of what you're saying when you like you're just giving up on finishing the show.
Yeah, they said they're not gonna cover it on EFAP and that they're just not gonna bother continuing the show, which is weird. But I mean, maybe they have valid reasons. I don't know. But I rewatched the first 3 episodes yesterday to see to remind myself because of today's stream, but also because I wanted to see if there were any valid criticisms that I could think of, and like really don't know how they say that the show is terrible, to be honest.
It's SJW propaganda. That's simple. We don't have to justify it. It just is.
Oh, the good thing about Modern Regs is that
But
they
I just find it.
never
I just
say
find it
that.
funny how everyone's like, even though we're just going against like, mainly it's been fucking Jay Longbone with some really bad takes, especially with Zemo's dancing. That's just sort of biggest thing. Is like, what is this really? What you're gonna really put
Like,
your hat on right now?
Was that an actual criticism? Like, I haven't really been.
I
on
have no
Twitter
idea. I have no idea. I'm gonna go and find the tweets, but it was she literally said something about how the dancing. No, actually, no. She said something about Zemo, like encouraging Bucky and Sam to go to the party for some reason, even though that's not at all what happened. It was literally them going to the party and Zemo danced to blend in because that's what you fucking do when you go into a club.
Also, it's not like he's just this like personalityless villain who's just like. I think this show has kind of shed light on he likes to have fun. Like he likes cars, he likes dressing well. Like
He's
he
an
can
actual
dance in a
person
club.
with a
Come on.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said like imagine blending in, like what a dumbass Zemo is, and she's like, this wasn't him blending in. Zemo insisted they go out to the party after they finish business. When did that happen? When did that happen at all? Like that didn't happen. Really confusing me.
I don't know. It's funny because it's like there was that one scene in episode 2 where the cops stopped Bucky and Sam, and everyone called it SJW, and then I guess because of that, everyone went, "Oh no, the show is bad now." Like I don't get why that would be something that would happen. Everyone just turning on the show like that. But
See, so I guess one thing that just in terms of like gauging whether something SJ is SJW, kind of the way I look at that is like if a show gives you a problem and then like a social problem and then says that what is presented in the media, like the show, the movie, whatever it is, has the answer to that, and that's the only way to look at it, that's when I think it's a little SJW. But like what Winter Soldier, like Falcon and Winter Soldier is doing, it's showing the issue, but it's showing like vastly different ways of interpreting that issue, vastly different ways of approaching these problems. You have the side of the Flag Smashers, you have Zemo's side, you also have like Sharon's perspective and the Wakandans' perspective. You're given lots of options to choose from. It's not shoehorning one possible answer. So I think that immediately rules out like any sort of claiming it's actively SJW.
people in the chat thought we said that Ultron danced, which I find it pretty funny. No, it was
What,
Zemo.
I want to go back to that as well because I was hearing it as I was feeding my dogs. The reason why they're dancing and blending in is because Sharon told them to, whilst she was
Layla
organised with a
blend in
client.
and something else. I forgot what the exact.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Zemo was by. He was the one most blended in. He was observing the painters. He was dancing. he looked the part.
Did you guys see the extended dancing scene that Marvel put on their channel?
I've just been scrolling through my
yeah.
Twitter and I just again saw the tweet of the fucking extended. Oh, God, so
It's
good.
awesome. It's wonderful.
But
I think someone's made a Twitter account of the Zemo clip of him dancing, and just
Oh,
have
yeah.
any
I
song
fucking saw that.
Oh
they
yeah,
can
that was great.
think of.
And an absent.
they
of
did
Virtuous was
the
hilarious.
Spider-Man 3 song when Emo Peter
Yeah.
starts dancing.
Yeah,
They-
That's so good. I do.
Great rabbit hole to dive into.
Buzz said he's not gonna be able to make it, unfortunately. But that means now that we can start watching the video if everyone is in the watch together. And if you're not,
Oh
I
man, I should
despise you.
probably go. Hey,
How dare you?
I gotta take off in 15 minutes though, so
The video's 15
I
minutes
guess
long.
That's fine. We can get 15-minute video. We can just get through it right now.
Yeah,
Easy.
no, we never,
Just
we
watch
rarely
the
ever
whole
pause
thing.
videos. Thought you know that.
oh, okay. Well, we should be fine.
I'm dropping a lot of frames. I think my internet is not doing great.
How shocking! You're in
Fix-
Brazil.
Go and fix it.
Fuck off. If chat can tell me if my internet is good, if the stream is lagging, because on the
You wanna start that sentence over?
Hey chat, can you go to Marcus's internet like source and see if it's any good, if he needs to, get a new provider or whatever, since chat, you're clearly the expert in this situation.
okay, if
That's
people
what I'm trying to
can
tell
tell
you.
me
Give you-
whether or not the stream is buffering or dropping frames or anything, that'd be great if you could, because my internet seems to be bad because OBS is showing it on red, the connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you Marcus's IP address, and then I need you to contact his ISP and get his bit rate from the last 12 days. Create a pie chart and then send it to Marcus.
That would be pretty
Yeah,
useful.
right.
Thanks. Stream's good. Okay. You look fine, I think. Okay. Because OBS is like, fucking. It says I dropped 15,000 frames, which is not good.
What?
Yeah, it says 10% of the stream has dropped frames, so that's not great. But if
I've never dropped a single frame while streaming, and theoretically, my internet is worse than yours, Marcus.
not
so
theoretically,
I
it
think
is
it's
worse
just
than-
more. That's just Brazilian propaganda.
Yeah. But okay, so everyone in the watch together. It seems so. Yeah. Let me show this fucking
Yep, I'm here.
amazing thumbnail again. I'm just a poor black victim.
So does anyone know who Hills versus Babyface is, and like what they do?
Well, I know they make. I've never watched a single video of his. The only
So-
thing I've seen him in is EFAP episodes. I know he's made things on like Doctor Who and other shenanigan stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same. That's all I know from.
He originally started to get popular because of series 12 of Doctor Who. Then he started getting into the fandom menace, and it got more the typical fandom menace behaviour as time went on, and he mainly focuses now on stuff like Batwoman and such.
He does Batwoman reactions, right?
Yeah, he does every episode still for some bizarre reason.
I mean,
He
I don't
keeps
know.
saying
It's
he'll
fun
stop.
to watch that, or like Jay Longbone's fucking reactions to the.
I used to watch Jay Longbone's Batman reactions because they were pretty funny, but
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to go and watch now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Because
Can't be
after the
asked.
debate I had with her on Twitter, I'm just like, I don't really care about your content anymore.
Yes,
But,
I'm
like,
saying I
think
tried
it's so
to
fun.
watch the EFAP movie Batman and Robin because I like watching the movies every once in a while if I'm bored, and I just couldn't for a while. And it's just like it's just tainted now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it happens. Like, I guess, with like, Drinker, I just like his videos are shit, but I can still have fun with him on EFAP at least. So, anyway, this video, thought it's
Yeah.
gonna leave soon. We have to at least get started on the video.
It's gonna be fun.
Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Now, just going to put all my cards on the table here. I've actually just finished watching Yellow Flash's video about
Yellow
this
Flash is
very
another
thing
terrible
that I'm
YouTuber.
going to discuss today, and I thought he had some interesting things to say. And
He's
I
just
also
more of the
thought I had a
SJW,
few things
fucking
myself that I
fandom
wanted
menace people.
to contribute towards this discussion, because
I just want to say, if you're making a video and use your source as bounding into comics, please don't make a video.
Wait. It gets better. Wait till you see who bounding into comic sources.
Oh yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah,
few
so
days ago,
you're in for a treat.
Doomcock.
Oh, what'd you
You're
say?
in for a treat.
Is it Doomcock?
Yep.
Oh,
As we know, he's the most reliable source.
I was still at the appearance on.
Sin is losing his mind, dear God.
Oh,
Everyone wants to be asking Kevin Feige.
people are asking what happened on Twitter with Jay Lombine. Basically, she's been really teased me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with her takes, and it's like very much misrepresenting the show. And for me, at least, the part that made me lose respect was her treatment towards Jay and the tweet about transgender people killing themselves.
Oh yeah,
Which
that
was-
was. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, I
she
was like-
said.
I was like, I've lost
Yeah.
respect for you, to be honest.
Yeah.
And later she starts having bad takes on Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and she debated me and misrepresented me, and then she debated his up and misrepresented him, and then she debated Editron and misrepresented him, so that's cool.
Well, she was
Straw-
just wrong
straw man.
about the show. Not really misrepresenting me. I just literally just proved that what she said just didn't happen.
Impossible. She'd never be wrong.
It's not like I used the literal script to debunk her entire. Oh, this is what happened when it actually didn't. Okay. was
Thick
fine.
femininity. And this is a topic of conversation which came up. And I was quite animated about it. And so this gives me an opportunity, I guess, to put it into video form. Now, once again, I'm going to use Bounding into Comics.
Once again. Oof.
This is Jonathan Trent, friend, of
Okay,
course, of
of
Friday
course.
Night Tights and the channel. New rumor claims that Falcon and Winter Soldier viewers turned off the show after BLM messaging. Now, if you tune into Friday Night Tights, you'll know that I have now stopped watching Falcon and Winter Soldier after episode 2. And this is an article that's going to actually discuss that very episode. And we're going to discuss
Jesus Christ, get to the
a
point.
very specific moment that just made me...
I want to just quickly say because that title kind of confused me. Like,
That was great, Tommy. You edited that.
I think that's all of our faces after listening to this man for a minute and a half.
I was gonna say, I'm lightheaded now. I was going to say that title really confuses me because the scene I'm assuming it's referring to in episode 2 that doesn't really have any Black Lives Matters movement messaging at all. It has nothing to do with the movement, which is really weird to me. It's literally just a cop like racially identifies Sam for an argument in a bad neighborhood. That's not really Black Lives Matters kind of thing. So I feel that's really weird.
It's the same guy
Because
that went.
they're not.
It's the same guy that went when Karana got fired. Now is the time to cancel Disney Plus, not during the whole Muslim camp stuff that was coming out.
Yeah, no, them shooting Mulan near a concentration camp. No, let's just continue paying Disney money. They fired my favorite actor? Nah, let's cancel it. Like, Jesus Christ.
Cancel now.
Imagine saving so much for fucking Gina Carano. Oh, you changed your profile picture. Amazing, Editron.
Ugh. Like that. And the main reason is 2 episodes into the show, it's excruciatingly boring.
I
Boring is subjective,
well.
motherfucker.
I just be in thought watching it. It's like we don't see the time pass. It's so good. We're so
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah, if you find it boring, fucking fine, but it is completely subjective. When your criticism is, I find it boring. That's the most. I hate it when people say it's the most uninteresting fucking piece of criticism you could ever give anything, and it's the same in the opposite way when you say this thing is exciting, and that's all you say. Fucking, can you actually explain your fucking points? Like, why do you find it boring? Like, actually give like, well, I find it boring because nothing's happening. Okay, then give you examples. Sam gets racially abused by a cop.
I don't see.
Fuck me.
I don't personally see the where the border's coming from, especially when you got scenes that are very character driven, like with Bucky especially. Some of his scenes hit fucking hard on his PTSD.
The opening scene in episode 4 did that really well. Like the flashback to him in Wakanda,
Yeah.
and there's almost like no
that
dialogue
scene was so
from him.
good.
It had so
Yeah,
it's
where
about
he's
Shen's
just
acting.
like slowly
That
starting
honestly
to
might
cry.
be.
It's so
I
good.
think that's probably Sebastian Stan's best acted moment in the MCU. Honestly,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
just his facial expressions in that scene are just—they're so on point, and you can completely like understand everything about his, like what he's feeling in that moment. The sort of fear in his eyes as the woman is like saying the words, and then sort of like the kind of relief in a way after like
After
he's
she
free.
says everything, and
It's
she's
so
like,
good.
yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
fantastic scene. And it also explains a lot as to why he can't be controlled by those words anymore, which makes that scene when he goes to Zemo, I'd say, better. When Zemo starts saying the words and he says, hey, that doesn't work anymore.
My favourite thing is when he helps the old man out of guilt for killing his son.
Oh yeah. When they revealed that it was his son that he killed in that dream he was having, that was like a really good moment. It's like it explains.
Do you think they're gonna do anything more with like the Wakandans being able to just pull his arm off? I feel like that was setting something up.
That's a good thing you bring that up because I think I retweeted this on Twitter about a couple hours ago. The fact that they had that, like the Wakandans can actually remove his arm and he didn't even know, the sort of his reaction to that is quite sad, like because it's in a way they didn't really trust him fully. They didn't have to have that in there, you know. I think that's a nice little detail with the arm, the fact they can just easily remove it, and he didn't know that was even a thing.
Yep. Which is actually funny because I was talking to a friend of mine like 2 weeks ago, and he said that one of the things he disliked about Bucky and Winter Soldier was the fact that he has this very advanced arm because it's made from Wakanda from vibranium, which means they would obviously be able to put like some tech into it, and he was like, oh, they have nothing, it's just an actual arm that doesn't do anything, and now the arm actually has some technology into it that the Wakandans can control, so like even that it's made better, and it's like it's really cool.
The characters of Bucky and Falcon, who I really enjoyed in the films, can I just stress, don't feel anything like themselves, particularly Falcon.
What the fuck do you mean? You absolutely do, you fucking idiot. Bucky literally has regrets about everything he did as the Winter Soldier. How is that not him acting like he has been in the films, you fucking moron?
Yeah, it's like you literally spend because we're going to be fair to him, we do it from the second episode because he hasn't seen the rest. You literally spend the 2 episodes him exploring the consequences of his actions and the self-guilt and how he's trying to recover from it. I think he's been doing since really the end of Winter Soldier and especially Civil War, and it's like, how the fuck what do you mean they're like not the same? And then as for Falcon, I can't see what's different about him. I guess the closest you're getting is how he's not idolizing the Shield, but the reason why he's not is because he can't live up to the legacy, which he felt in Endgame. I don't understand.
Like even in
Substantiate, please.
in fucking Civil War, he's like, Tony asks, "Do you even remember them?" And Bucky says, "I remember all of them." And this show is building on that to show his PTSD from remembering everyone he killed.
Do you
as
remember the
Winter
part
Soldier.
in? You remember the part in Civil War where he literally says to Steve like something of the lines of like, "I don't know if I'm worth all this to you."
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Remember
that's
that
a
shit?
very good
Remember
line,
how
yeah.
he's like, he probably doesn't really agree that Steve should go to all the lengths he did in Civil War for him because he feels he probably deserves everything that's coming to him.
Yep.
That it's continued here, literally in the first episode. How he
in the second episode
regrets,
as well, when he
well,
says,
not regrets, but like he feels bad for what happened to that guy's son. How he killed his son.
Oh, it's like even in
Oh,
the second episode when Bucky and Falcon are in the that therapy session, and he's like, "Well, if, then maybe Steve was wrong about you, and if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me." So it's like that also builds on that, where it's like he doesn't think he's worth all the trouble. He doesn't think he's a good person, and the only person who could have made that possible is Steve. But if Steve was wrong about Falcon, what like that means it's possible for him to be wrong about Bucky as well. So it's like it's a really good scene. It's a really good dialogue that builds on that.
I've just seen a really tismy tweet. I wanna refute against. To make clear, I do like Voice. He's chill,
Oh, that
but
one.
he said Falcon complains that the black super soldier was treated as human because he was used and then forgotten, and the reason given as to why he was because he was black, while saying this to the guy who was treated like a slave and a killing machine for years, forced against his will. So
You didn't say that it was about him being black. I swear, I don't think that was ever what he said.
well, to tackle the point, it's not too relevant the reason why, but during the scene, that he's obviously mad because he's just found out that this individual went through the exact same as Bucky and is kept under wraps by the people that are meant to be quote unquote the good guys doing the right things when they're doing something no better than Hydra. That's why he's angry about it. And the fact that they did this already to Steve Rogers' legacy, of course it's going to make him angry. Of course he's going to get pissed about it, especially when Bucky knew himself. And it's obviously going to have that personal connection because there's an inherent racial thing in there where certain traits of people that are famous helps have a better looking up to. So, for example, if I see someone that's disabled that's doing really well, I feel a stronger emotional connection than someone who isn't because I know their hardships. So yeah, that's why he's mad. I don't see why it's a bad thing him saying it to Falcon unless you're trying to say he's insensitive. When I can argue saying it to Bucky like that is making clear that Bucky of all people should understand why Falcon is mad right now.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good breakdown of that tweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not
just-
bad.
Yeah, I
just
just
want
Well,
good criticism.
my friends, I have to take off, unfortunately.
how dare you?
However, it's been nice. Also, fantastic new profile picture, Editron.
Mhm.
Yes, it's lovely.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Hey, well.
Thoughts channel is in the description if you want to check him out, though you probably already are subscribed to him. Oh, hey, Thought. Bye, Thought.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you want to check his channel out, it's yeah, his channel is in the description if you want to check it out. He makes videos from time to time, and yes. Yeah, that's it. Let's continue with this amazing video.
This feels like a completely new character now. Sam is a different guy.
He said the
and
same thing
wherever-
3 times, and
Okay,
he
say
didn't
again, that makes it right.
elaborate at all. He said,
No,
he
he's
feels out of
not, he's
character. He
not.
feels like a different character, and he feels like a new person.
I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna say it here. Let's be real. Sam was never a main character. He was a side character within the Captain America films, and then obviously Infinity War. Even more so a side character because he was hardly in it. We don't really know that much about Sam overall. We know the most development he ever got up until now was Winter Soldier, and even then it wasn't that much. For people to say how like, oh, he's completely different now. He's not only is he is in the some way he is the same person, but we're getting more of him. So this weird thing of, oh, he's completely different. He's a completely different character now. They're completely retcon everything about. No, that we're getting more development on him. We're learning more about him, his personal life, his history, his family, his sister, all that. This is all new because we're getting brand new stuff because he's actually becoming a main character now. Like, this fucking weird take everyone's having that this is just completely different and is not what, you know, these characters were in the first place, when that's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were like, think that when a character gets,
Everyone's thinking that Falcon is like a main character.
Yeah,
It's
like
weird.
people think that a character that didn't have that much development now getting development, that means he's out of character, when it's like it's building on the character that we had before. So it's like, of course, he's gonna feel different if you have more context for the reason and how and why he does everything he does. Like that's how character writing works. So I don't really get it.
Before this show, he had like about only one real film where he had any sort of development, and then he was sort of like little bits here and there in Civil War, and then nothing in Infinity War, because Infinity War was more about Thanos and the world ending, and more to do with like Tony and all that. Though all the main characters and all that, like he's not that developed before this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, neither is Bucky. Like Bucky has
So,
more development
yeah.
than Sam, but even then he's
Yeah,
not.
but Bucky has a lot more development than Sam. But even there, there's still more that can be done, and that's obviously the show. And most things with Bucky is fantastic. Like the scene at the end of episode 2 where he literally has that conversation with Sam. It's like, maybe he was wrong about you, and if he was wrong about you, he was wrong about me. That is fantastic line. And a fantastic delivery as well. The delivery really makes the line as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting a lot of stuff with these characters, and it just feels like these people are just ignoring it and claiming that they're completely different, when that's not the case. We're getting actual, like, what they're thinking, what they actually feel, and how that's relating to the show and how it's relating to the plot and all that. And it's really good stuff, and it's really annoying when everyone's just saying they're so different, and it's boring, but it's irritating. It's really irritating.
Sam goes, so does discrimination. It doesn't matter whether he's trying.
Which is okay. That isn't true at all, because this is the first ever instance in the MCU, honestly, that I think it's had racism. Well, aside
Other
from Black
than-
Panther.
I mean, other than the TV shows, right?
Yeah, so not only has it never happened in the films, aside from Black Panther, it's never happened in this show till that point, and it still hasn't happened in the show again from that point. So it's like he's just making up this false narrative that Sam has always been discriminated in this show, and that's completely false. If anything, he's been really, really respected. Like in the bank scene, whilst he couldn't get the loan, the bank guy was like, "Oh my God, you're Falcon. I admire you and everything." So I don't understand this point.
I also find it weird when people say that scene has to do with racial discrimination. When even when we were watching, I was like,
No,
that has nothing to do with
doesn't.
racial issues. It's just how the
It
world
doesn't.
works, the bank can't give them money considering like how
And people
everyone
also
was playing.
saying, everyone's also claiming the criticism of Tony didn't pay the dead Avengers families, which I find a bit odd.
What
It's weird.
did you say? I'm confused.
No, because obviously I think there's a lot of people claiming the criticism of why didn't Tony pay all the Avengers that died in the blip?
Oh no, that's retarded because
Like, why didn't he pay their families?
Tony, they didn't think anyone would come back, and if they pay money to literally everyone's family who had someone die, that's half the world that died.
Tony literally,
Like even the
with
economy
every
fucking
like
inflation and everything.
yeah.
So
If he pay like all the Avengers like family salaries and well not salaries, just paid them in like 5 years, that's a lot of people and that's a lot of money to give in 5 years. Like to have every single person have a living,
Yep. It's really strange to say, oh, he would have just
That
paid
would
severance,
I
but-
would say that Tony's money it probably wouldn't run out because he's like I can't remember if he's like is he a billionaire
Yes.
or something like that?
I
Well,
think so, yeah.
I know he's very rich, but that is obviously a lot of money. But if you're paying that many people in a 5-year time, that's a lot of money to lose. With also you paying for a family of your own. So I don't understand. Like you can't help everybody, In the world that lost half of the universe, and obviously in the case of the Earth, the world, you can't help everybody. You just can't in that situation.
The profile picture,
Also,
thanks,
hi,
Jack.
Hagrid.
Yeah, PS1 Hagrid is Bay. But it's also interesting to note because I feel like that also kind of applies to Sharon, where it's like, of course, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were pardoned because of the Avengers. Even Sharon says, oh, he didn't have the Avengers. And people think that it was Captain America who pardoned Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they were dead at that point. They wouldn't be pardoned, I think. And it's like if the only people who knew of Sharon's existence were Black Widow and Captain America, and they both died after Endgame. Why would she get a pardon as well? She was an enemy of the state at that point, so they didn't even know where she was or how to contact her or anything either. So
Also, what's interesting is people are assuming that Tony knows about the dead family or even Cap, when we do have evidence in the MCU where they don't necessarily know the heroes' personal lives. So, for example, in Avengers 2, they didn't know Hawkeye had this entire family. They knew nothing of his real personal life. Now, it's a bit harder to do that in terms of Cap with Falcon, because they're pretty close, but doesn't make it outside the realm of impossibility, which is what the criticism is going for.
yep.
And also, like we have Cap, he is helping people. Like we have the scene in Endgame where he's at sort of like a meeting, like a council thing. He's been trying to help people, move on, try to, build something that what they have left for the world. Like you can't solve everybody, you can't solve all their financial problems, but what you can do is help them morally, stay with them, just help them out in any way you can to help them, get by in any sort of other way. So they did try to help. So it's weird.
The people going also as well. For example, we said would have paid reparations to widow families, and someone go, why did Falcon get the loan? Well, people seem to assume that because they're heroes, they will automatically get all these privileges, and to an extent that is true. But it's also reflective of the current world in the MCU, in which the global economy is ruined right now. One way or another, they're struggling because of the sudden surges of people. the same for crime. That's why they need a new hero and so forth. So there's already a reason why it would be a struggle just to provide the loan needed or the income needed. Then there's the fact that you're already in a situation where heroes are quite controversial still. Less so now because of Endgame, but there's still like people who are distrusting of them, which we even see in this show. That's the whole point of the Flag Smashers to an extent. So it wouldn't be a wise move to ignore these loads of people and go, well, here's all this for you guys. Especially when you got someone like Tony who's part of Stark Industries. It's like, well, surely the companies can do this sort of deal. And then thirdly, if we take this to the real world, we literally have war heroes. Like the biggest war heroes got desecrated for their efforts, or they're forgotten about, or they're not financially supported yet. They've sacrificed their lives to protect their nations, time and time again. So it's like it isn't impossible for these people not to be supplied with finance. I didn't say everyone. I said pay the heroes' families. I didn't say you said everyone.
I think because Ten
And
said in
also-
chat the 4 billion people are dead, but either way, even if they were to pay all the heroes' families, trying to find them, contact them would be hard, and you can't just pay all those people, because then if you just pay them and not the rest of the world, then it creates a major inequality. And then if you depending on how much money you have, since you're like one of the main sources of income at this point, if you are Tony Stark, then that's gonna fuck with the world economy in terms of like inflation and everything, because the money is just that's not how money works. You can just give it away and not have consequences. So yeah.
So you admit it's not a race thing? I never said the loan thing was a race thing. I've never made that claim. I'm not sure where that's come
We
from.
started this by
I've said-
saying it's not a race thing. That was our point from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. The point is that one, anybody that was provided to them would have sustained over 5 years to the widowed families, if you're referred to the blip. Marcus said the disparity is already bad enough with heroes and the people, and in a world already full of chaos, you cannot add more. It's not going to work. It will worsen so many things, and also there's the fact that there's nothing to say they would necessarily accept it. I know that's weird to say, but for example, Sam doesn't know the financial situation, so there's reason for him not to accept it and just wait, well, this is part of doing the right thing. The show seems to think it is. When did the show ever make this a race thing with the bank?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you get now. I don't remember a line of dialogue that goes, it's because of their race. In
Yeah, you're
fact,
black, you don't get money.
it seems to be very banking on the fact that they can't be trusted due to poor financial record. There's no racial undertones. Like the cop scene, yeah, there's definitely a racial undertone there. Like, I'm not denying that one, but this one, I'm not sure. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, Marcus.
The illusion's broken.
Oh no.
Broken the illusion, Jeb.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yes. I'm glad you could finally admit it.
Falcon says it's about the black
Hey.
super soldier.
What?
Let me get that dialogue. I don't think he does. I don't think he makes a correlation between him not getting a loan and that based on race. It's episode 2. Sire. Let's type bastard. Is it episode 2? Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Because it's not doing it properly. It's hard. Yeah, nothing. There's no relation to that. There's no connection between the bank and that. I'm literally looking at dialogue.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Mm. All right, so are we ready to move on with the
Make
video?
sure
or-
to point.
We've just gone another
Voice.
round, so let's.
Voice, I think you're reading into that falsely. Because this is how the scene goes. So you know what they did to me for being a hero? They put my ass in jail for 30 years. People running tests, taking my blood, coming into my cell. Even your people weren't done with me. Asaya, get out of my house. Let's go, man. Let's go. Bucky then goes Sam, and then Falcon goes, why didn't you tell me about Asaya? How could nobody bring him up? I asked you a question, Bucky. Bucky goes, I don't know. Falcon goes, Steve didn't know about him. Bucky goes, he didn't, I did tell him. And then it finishes with Falcon going, so you're telling me that there was a black super soldier decades ago and nobody knew about it? There is no mention of the bank itself at all. There is nothing about that. The point he was making is how this entire time there was a black super soldier and he did all these things and he was treated like that, like nothing. Again, I haven't seen the show. Was anyone? No, I don't know. Based on organics, we don't see anyone else trying to
That's
apply
what's
for a
implied,
loan.
though. He says that everyone is looking to get a loan, and that
They let you
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
people are trying.
Triple Skip saying the Avengers will no longer be a private organization who operate under the supervision of the United Nations. Shouldn't the UN be providing team members some financial support? So if the UN gives money to heroes and doesn't give to normal people, do you not see how that's an issue? And if it does give money to normal people, that means literally everyone in the world is going to be paid, which means it's irrelevant at this point because due to inflation, they'd have the same amount of money as they already do.
Also, as well, Falcon doesn't operate under it. He went against the Accords, so so he regards himself as a free agent almost. He doesn't want to associate with the government like with Bucky. It's and to confirm Brady, yes, it seems many people are dealing with it. If I don't want to loan. Said to Bucky the man, you weren't there for this point, but voice, that's a poor criticism. You're going. This character shouldn't be angry and vent it out to Bucky, who kept it from him. That's going to anger Sam, knowing that the people that are meant to be priding themselves on doing the right thing are doing the same actions Hydra did, or similar actions Hydra did, and they're keeping it under secret. And there's going to be that personal attachment because there's a racial element to it, in the sense that Falcon would look up to him more because the hardships of being that race, in the same way that I'd look up to someone who's disabled more because they went through the hardships of their disability and the ableism they've experienced. That's why he's so angry. And he says it to Bucky because Bucky should know that. And furthermore, you can also argue from the sense that him getting angry at Bucky is because Bucky, of all people, should know how this feels. Should know how being put into this cage and confined and hidden away like some monster, and how that feels. That's why he's angry. He feels betrayed.
So, we ready to move on with the video, or
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something else?
On the country, Bucky should have said something. And Sam is thick for thinking Bucky.
But it's the
Okay.
exact opposite.
Wait.
He knows.
Yeah, he literally goes, I know. And then the police come to interrupt the discussion. And Sam never said he doesn't think Bucky would understand. He's asking how come nothing was mentioned? How come nothing was told? How could nobody bring him up? It wasn't that he didn't understand. Again, I feel this is quite infuriating about this show. I think people are reading certain information into it that's completely false or not supported by the dialogue stated. And it's quite confusing personally as to why that's the case.
Okay, so the video. Let's continue.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
he'll
a
keep
bank
forgetting about the
loan?
video.
Which in itself was ridiculous because of what he would be doing with the
Okay.
Avengers. He would be getting a very generous stipend from
He just took
Stark
that out of his ass,
Industries,
but okay.
and they just try and palm it off in the series in one line saying, that's not how things work. No, Sam, that is how things work
It's
in a
not.
capitalist society.
Yeah, in a capitalist society, Tony Stark would just pay them money out of his own pocket to do a job that they're supposed to be doing it for the government. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, okay. In a capitalist society, where it's about private organizations building profits in terms of the market, it would be the opposite. They wouldn't be supplying money to the Avengers, and if they're supplying money to the government, and the government is supplying it down, you're entering a certain, to an extent, a bit of socialism, because the government are having a say in it, which is more, means they have more control, which means it's more state-owned rather than private. So that's kind of the opposite, Hills, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but he's
The
making
show-
an assumption of how it should work, even though that's explicitly said that
The-
it's not how it works, and it makes sense how it does work.
The show doesn't explain that aspect, so people's minds start to wonder, no, I'm sorry. No. If the dialogue is explicitly saying something different and you're pushing a narrative where it is saying something different, you are saying something incorrect. And it's okay to say something incorrect. Because we all say stuff incorrect about media, is about improving. But the show is telling you something. The show is explaining to you. You can't say it's not explaining that. You've said things that are completely contradictory to the dialogue that I've read out. Voice, I literally read out the dialogue to you and what it meant. I literally read out what it said, and I said there was nothing where he said the conversation's literally cut off. We already know how Bucky's reacting in the scene. We already know that Falcon never said that you don't understand how it feels. We already know why Falcon's angry and the explanation for it. We do get those aspects. We know why Bucky didn't tell anyone during the scene with Asaya. I don't understand really on this whole scenario.
Alrighty then. The video now. Let's get back to Az.
Stark would be paying the Avengers. He can't expect them just to have a room in his nice Avengers hotel and just be there free of charge until a world global threat is called.
So, what? Something being free of charge and him paying them is two very different things that those two don't correlate. He's already providing them with a place to live, food, training, resources for their equipment. And then they start working with the government. So, I don't get it.
No, of course, a generous stipend that would be building up. And no doubt a very generous health package, dental package, insurance package on fear of death or dismemberment, etc., etc. So the thought of him having to go for a loan in the first place was ridiculous. And then, of course, it was intimated that he didn't get the loan, or she didn't get the loan, his sister didn't get the loan because they're black.
Yeah, well, I'd say we've thoroughly explained why that's not the case.
If you have to misrepresent the show to benefit your point, your video's already failing. Like, okay, this is why I kind of want to know why Mauler, Rags, and Fringy find it flawed because
Their
obviously they're
arguments
good at what they
aren't
do.
retarded usually.
Yeah, and they tend to be very good with arguments of references. Whereas instead we're dealing with these arguments where it's making stuff up for the sake of a narrative. It's just like, okay.
I like if Mauler came out with proper. If I haven't heard any of what he said about the show at all, if he ends up giving actually really good arguments about how a lot of the stuff, like even the latest episode, I don't think is actually overall well written. I think the good parts are like most of the beginning and most of the end, and I think there's a lot of stuff in between that it's really tismy, especially the fight scene between the Wakandans and fucking God was I can't remember his name. New Cap, sort of skipping my head.
John Walker.
There we go. I thought that fight was really shit. Like, for example, I don't think it was a very good fight, and I think there's the logistics of the fight and why it happened was really bad. Like, and there could be more of that kind of really weird decision making throughout the show if they gave proper arguments. And I'm totally fine with the show being not as well written as I think it is right now. What I'm not happy with is these arguments that I know for a fact are based on bullshit, and they're like literally Jay Longbone, literally yesterday, fucking claimed Zemo was the one who insisted to going onto the party when that didn't happen. I just said on Twitter as well, I am totally fine with proper criticism of the show. Just give me some actual criticism, and I'm happy with that. And I can work with that and then deem like, okay, is the show as well written as I thought it was? Probably not, or no, I don't think that's valid criticism. I know this for a fact isn't. So come on.
Also, I want to question nothing hostile, Brady. I just want to understand like why you thought it sounds like SJW pandering, why Falcon was denied and alone, because I think it's worth knowing why people get into these conclusions so we can understand the root of the issue. And why people jump to this notion. Because to me it sounds like you're operating on an absurdist statement as to why is SJW pandering.
So that was stupid enough in the first episode. Then in the second episode, if I just scroll down to this image here, this will probably make most people who saw the episode's eyes roll to the back of their heads.
Not really.
Bucky and Sam are having a minor altercation in the street where
Not really
a
minor.
fleet of police
Like,
cars.
I wouldn't call it minor at all.
Yeah, Sam was shouting at.
This is a big conflict because of what Sam has just learnt. So to say minor and the fact that he is raising his voice against, Bucky, I wouldn't call that minor. So, it's a bit weird wording.
Fleet of police cars suddenly turn up and
Oh yeah, he says it's a fleet of police cars. Instead, it's actually just one police car, and then the other one shows up after the.
It's one
race.
car that was already there.
Yeah.
A
So,
fleet.
but thanks for misrepresenting the show, I guess.
they talk to Bucky and they say, "Excuse me, sir, is this man bothering you?" Totally profiling Sam because he's black.
Because something like that would never happen in real life, right?
Yeah, I wonder what happened last year. Big historical event, and it's like I'm sorry. I know it's not like the easiest thing to, I guess, process, but the reality is there is racial profiling. We as a species, if we see something that's against the norm, we're not the most friendliest with it, and that's repeated throughout history. Even in African cultures, if you have a white person, they're more hostile to it than a person of color because it's against the norm. These inherent biases exist because that's what we've been through for centuries and centuries, and to an extent as part of instinctual behavior due to tribalism. And we're slowly evolving from it, but those traces do exist, I'm afraid, especially by the people in power, because to an extent, if we go to play devil's advocate on them, they're seeing it as if we need to protect the people that are more likely to be threats, sort of deal, because they're against the norm. For a typical Western citizen. So there was precedence for a cop to come in to see the situation was okay. Yes, of course. Falcon was yelling at Bucky, and he was trying to defuse the situation. Police can get involved during those scenarios. I know from personal experience. There was an altercation between two people now yelling. Police came over to check if everything was okay.
I left while you were explaining that it had nothing to do with what you were saying. I just left at Neb getting so angry in chat.
Yeah, so as precedents as well, ask if the man yelling is threatening the other guy, because he's showing hostile behaviour by yelling. He's obviously going to question that very situation.
Like in the scene, I've got the scene literally playing right now. Like it's very clear Sam is being the aggressor. Like the way he's like his body language and all that kind of stuff. It is very clear he's the aggressor in the conversation. So I don't. Also, people claim that the cops just teleport in. It's completely bullshit because they literally turn up in the first shot. Like when they're exiting the house, it's the way the camera pans. You can see the cop car on the road. It doesn't teleport in.
And like, even if it did, does it really change anything plot wise?
No.
Because like they were just Bucky
No.
is gonna get arrested at some other point, or he's gonna find out there's a warrant for his arrest, and then he's gonna go to his therapist. So anyway, it just changes how fast something happens.
Ergo, not inherently a racial commentary. No, well, if you just had those elements, yeah, not inherently, but in the context, you could tell there's a racial undertone when he starts asking for Falcon's ID.
Yeah, he only
That's
talks
where-
to Falcon instead of us thinking that Bucky may be in the wrong, which that happens. Racial bias.
And he kind of presses on Falcon, even though Bucky's like, yeah, everything is okay. So there is a racial undertone. People acting like it's so overt, but the reasons are explained for why the police approaches the situation, why the police would be there, because you could tell by the neighborhood. It's not exactly the most upkept one, which you see in better shots than this is showing. So they're obviously going to patrol that area because poor area is said to see high crime. So it's like, it's not forced. It makes sense. Voice is offered to come on and chat.
That's fine. Well, I'm not the host,
But-
so I can't say.
I'm happy with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me add him to the call.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a discussion, really.
Yeah.
Try and find middle ground on these situations.
I'm just gonna put this on screen while we talk because I feel like it's appropriate.
What is on screen? I like how my profile is literally looking up at Babyface right now. I find it quite funny.
I think as well, people need to understand kind of the point of the scene. And the point of what this show's doing is trying to show not only what America's like in this modern age, but also the world. And the reason why it's doing that is trying to show what does Captain America as a symbol represent? What is it displaying to everyone? How can it be better? What aspects does it need to work on? So ultimately, when Falcon or Bucky or even both, in theory, pick up the shield, they know what ideas they need to try and achieve. Because while Steve Rogers is regarded as the greatest inspiration, he wasn't the perfect idol because he was a man out of time. He was still trying to get to grips with today's world. He still
Something
stood
that,
up for the right thing.
It's something that actually
Thanks.
Zemo points out when he says that the problem with people like Steve Rogers that they become symbols and then we forget about their flaws, which I think is a really good line.
Exactly. And hey, folks.
Hello. Let me
Hello.
just get my mic together. It's very far away from my face.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
fucking
radio
quiet.
Yeah.
Don't apologise for signing us down. I think it's very key that we can have some form of discussion with opposing views, because it shows insight into things
Yeah,
on
yeah,
both
of course.
sides.
No, I just came in and I was like, I want to ask one question, and then like it just became I want to ask another question. I don't know if I'm just like missing shit with the show. It's entirely possible. I've been wrong before. I thought Snyder's version of the Justice League was superior until recently.
Ooh. Now
That
that's
was a hot
freshly
take.
cooked. Hot take and a half.
I'm more than prepared to admit I'm wrong sometimes.
Oh yeah, we
I-
all are. To be fair.
I liked the first. I think my favorite part of the show is actually not even the plot, because I barely understand. I barely understand it. My favorite part's just been the characters of just Falcon and Bucky interacting, and like the bit where they sit down at the therapy session. It's like, you're way too close to me, and then obviously Bucky explains why he's like been upset with Falcon. And
Mhm.
it makes narrative sense. I personally haven't. I don't feel they've made a compelling enough argument for Falcon to not accept the shield, and instead just sort of gave it up, and the shield went to no one else of significance.
What?
I haven't like Falcon says no, and they go, okay, Bucky, and did they ask Bucky? Did they ask anyone else?
They would not give the shield to Bucky. The government would never do that. He's been a known
Well, yeah, 'cause
fugitive
he's literally.
for a while.
yeah.
He was wanted for the murder of King T'Chaka. Like he used to work for Hydra. They would never do that. Even just as a PR, from a PR standpoint, they would never give the shield to Bucky.
But
Yeah.
they would still use him for active service in their name.
Well, they
Um,
wouldn't
so-
use him for like as a
hold-
mascot to represent America.
Yeah.
Hold on. They don't even use him really for active service. Bucky's acting on his own accord.
Yeah, exactly.
what-
Exactly. He's also
what-
not. Yeah.
The reason why they won't let Bucky have the shield is PR, and also he's still under his therapy sessions, so that
Right.
shows they still can't really trust in him to do the righteous things, so to speak. So then we look at other options, maybe a Rhodey as example.
Yeah.
He already is
War
Iron
Machine.
Patriot. I don't see why they would
I
need to
mean,
have
yeah.
him be two icons at once, and
Well, I
especially
mean,
because
surely,
when Rhodey's
surely
so
you
tied.
combine the two then.
Yeah, but then he's Rhodey's so tied to Iron Man. You need to, and he can carry on Iron Man's legacy. But what about Captain America? Because like even if you just give him the shield, it's not even like the shield would be useful to him anyway because he has his armor. So it's like it would be
That
really
is true.
pointless. It would be really
give
pointless.
the guy bulletproof armor, a bulletproof shield. It's like,
Yeah.
there you go, this will help. It's like,
So
but I don't understand why make it a title at that point and just make the guy who's already recognized as being the Patriot Captain America as well.
Well, like I
Especially
just said,
considering
he
I thought the whole
represents.
point was that Spider-Man was supposed to be the next Tony Stark anyway.
Yeah, but Spider-Man doesn't like work with the government. Iron Patriot has been a symbol that they've made for a while now. It's been 10 years at this point that he's been Iron Patriot.
Yeah, actually, there's been,
He's an established
time.
symbol
Yeah, no, but,
of America at this point who works for the
but-
government. If you just make him
exactly,
Captain
he's
America, that's
he's an
undermining
established-
the Iron Patriot.
If he's already a symbol of America, then why wouldn't they just like roll the two into one?
Because it's undermining the Iron Patriot symbol. It's like, oh, this past 10 years they are not as important as Captain America. Captain America is more important.
well,
That's
the-
not good from PR
there's something.
standpoint.
So that they
There's
have
some-
two different people that represent basically the same thing.
Like you had Captain America, him and Iron
Yeah.
Man, and he still existed as Iron Patriot existed as well. They were two
So-
different people that
so
represented
do
the
they
same
d-
thing.
so
And not
do-
really the same thing when
so do
Iron
they feel
Patriot
that-
is way more tied to the military. When Captain America just represents America's values as like a country.
I mean, they still use the thing that Captain America was known for was his service in World War One. So he's clearly a military symbol. And I don't understand why they just wouldn't. It's not even like just giving the name I am Captain America to someone. It's literally just picking someone else to fill in the position that Captain America once held. It doesn't mean giving them the name Captain America.
But there's also a few other aspects that kind of go into it. So when they want to select the ideal candidate, they did list off a few things. They want to try and make it like Steve Rogers, for example. So they picked a person who's obviously been towards the military, like Rhodey, but also has those 3 Medal of Honors as part of it, showing consistent bravery, dedication to the country, and there's also kind of anybody could be that. I think that's why they've specifically picked John rather than.
I think my Discord people are saying my Discord symbol is invisible, by the way, so I might jump out, hop back in.
No, it seems fine on
Invisible.
OBS.
Yeah, it says on the stream that there's 5 people talking and then like an ethereal voice from nowhere, which I mean is fitting for me.
Oh no, yeah, it's not the. It's an issue with my bit rate because my internet is retarded today. So
Oh, it's okay.
yeah, so it's not, if you leave.
God damn it,
it's not going
Marcus.
to change anything. It's just the stream hasn't.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's cool. Yeah, so I think that was basically my point. Is like that it's not so much like giving the title of Captain America as a name to someone. It's just being like, hey, Captain America represented this thing and he did all these things for us. We have all these superheroes. Who wants to fill in that position? That doesn't necessarily mean that you are Captain America now.
Okay, so I'm going to read out why he got chosen by his own accord.
No, I totally get, like, just so you know, I totally get the reason or the personal reason Falcon wouldn't accept it. It's like, is this the kind of America I want to represent, sort of thing. And I get that. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the world right now that would be sort of embarrassed to think this is how my country is represented, and therefore wouldn't want the pressure. But I just feel it weird that they wouldn't like ask anyone else.
So, what needs to be the justification? They go, John Walker, first person in American history to receive 3 Medals of Honor, ran RS-1 missions in counter-terrorism and hostage rescue. They did a study of your body at MIT, and you tested off the charts in every measurable category: speed, endurance, intelligence. And then he interrupts, saying how he's not like Stark or Banner, doesn't have the flashiest gadgets, super strength, but he has guts, something Captain America always has and needed to have. And then he goes, I was 2 years out of West Point when Steve came back on the scene. I followed his career very closely as an Avenger. I like to think that I modeled my work after his. So what you have someone with a lot of military experience, someone with extreme medals of honor that no one else has had. You have physical capabilities that no one else has, and then you have someone that models himself after Cap. It seems quite evident why to them he's the perfect candidate.
Is he a super soldier, by the way?
No, he became
not
a
at
super
the
soldier in the
time.
last episode when he took the serum.
Right. Okay. Because I watched, he jumped out a window and landed like 3-story drop onto a car,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
because the latest episode makes it very clear when he takes the super serum.
Yeah.
Like, they make it very clear the
It's
timeline.
like roids. He kind of gets like pretty angry.
Yeah. I'd imagine, like, especially just recently taking it, your body entirely changing, all the adrenaline and all that stuff. That would be, I'd assume, that would be heightened in the moment, and especially being like raged as well. It would not help things, and that obviously gets to the point of what he actually does.
Yeah, it does kind of prove though that their choice was wrong. I just want it just makes me wonder if there was anyone sort of that we followed as a character that people knew about who was a potentially a better choice.
I mean, the only
mean-
person I think who represents the same values as Captain America in the MCU, other than of course John Walker, is Coulson, and of course for these people, Coulson is dead at this point. Like they don't know
R.I.P.
he's alive, and he would never become
I-
Captain
I
America. He's
don't
even
even-
old enough. So
I don't even know if it's like the values are it's going to sound stupid on paper, but I don't even know if the values would be something they'd look for above, like, can he get shit done?
clearly, John
I can
Walker can
understand
get
that.
shit done. He made
Yeah, I
extensive tests, and he can do exactly what Captain America can do. They make a point of that.
Yeah,
in this episode. True.
I can understand why you think they won't care about moral values. I think then you would take it to American values, which Walker is very patriotic for his country, given the missions he does. I think the reason why they elected him over everyone else is also his physical capabilities.
In comparison to something like Black Panther or Iron Man, or obviously not Iron Man, that's a bad choice. You know, it's been so long since I've actually thought about the MCU in any depth. I've forgotten a lot of characters. It's
I was gonna
actually embarrassing now that I think back. It's like, who is
Well, the
there?
MCU hasn't been good since like 2016.
That is also true.
Well, if we run off characters, we can't go with Black Panther because his
Yeah,
commitment to
obviously.
Wakanda. Bruce, we can't go off because Endeavor's as Hulk, and
Bruce is like some retired middle-aged Hulk with one arm. So
pretty much. Thor's off world by this point. It looks like.
yeah,
Doctor
obviously
Strange,
Captain Marvel's out.
Doctor Strange's out as well. There was no way he was going to.
Spider-Man, technically, I guess, because Fury knows about him, but I don't know if those are one of the same thing.
I'd say it's because he's too young. They wouldn't go for him.
Yeah, I suppose.
So lack of experience.
They
I'd
did
also-
that I'd
go
also
for
think,
him.
I also think
They did go for
Spider-Man
him at the
himself
end of
would-
the world scenario.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They did go for him for end of the world scenario though, or what they
Well-
believed was end of the world.
Yeah, which is quite weird in a
But
bit.
I don't know if that's like that's probably more a flaw with Far From Home than anything else.
Yeah, and I'd also argue, given that's a one-time thing versus this is basically a major commitment you're doing for however long. Plus, Spider-Man's kind of made clear he likes to be independent, rather than associated for government. Then we've got who else we got? Trying to think. We obviously got Bucky, but we've got why with Bucky. I'm trying to think. The best candidate would be Iron Patriot, but that comes with its downsides, especially his physical capabilities, his age. He's not the youngest.
I don't know if
he-
age is that big a deal when you're in a giant bulletproof spacesuit.
And also there's the thing to consider. He does have physical injuries, so he isn't as capable.
But
Even
they
with
don't
the suit.
impair him in they don't impair him in any way that we know. It'd be interesting to explore that. In fact, it'd be interesting if they brought War Machine into this period.
Yeah, I think it's mainly the fact that he's just got a lack of physical capabilities, and the reputation of the Iron Patriot is what prevent them from choosing. So they'll go with someone with all these aspects that John has.
He did also tell the board to fuck off in Infinity War, so
Yeah, so
there is that, I suppose.
yeah, so it does look like it makes sense why they've gone with someone like a John Walker.
Yeah, I can see why. Now that I actually start to consider the options, there's actually not a great deal. So I guess it makes sense in that kind of way.
And also there's the fact that it could be just going on the same approach as before, because you could argue at a time during the Howling Commandos, why didn't they pick one of them instead of Messiah? But instead they chose a sire. So it's clear they
Yeah.
had set of protocols in place anyway.
Okay.
Is there any
By the way,
other
the
issues?
pictures, the pictures of Babyface are killing me right now. Especially that first one. That is unfortunate.
I know, right?
Perfect. Pause.
A handsome man he is.
I keep hearing the stream. It's lagging.
My internet
Oh,
is
shit.
shit, and the only thing I could do is to restart my internet, which would kill the stream. We could try that though, if like you guys want to wait for like 10 minutes until we get back.
Let's see how it goes for now. If it goes to the point where it's unwatchable,
No, it's been dropping frames since the beginning, like I said, and it's still dropping. My connection is shit. If you do want me to restart, I gotta do it now. Otherwise, it's gonna be the same shit for the rest of the stream.
that depends on the audience.
I mean, a lot of people have already dropped out. We have like 5 people watching, so I do think I should restart my internet.
Can you
Okay.
meld the two together at a later date, or is it like just kind of one of those things?
Well, I don't really know. I'm gonna try to use the same stream, but really, I don't know if it is gonna be able to. If it's not, I'll just do it part 1 and part 2. So.
Might be able to. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can't on YouTube Studio. I just want to know if it's gonna work through the streaming thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go restart my internet, so I'll be back soon.
Farewell.
So we're going to take a pause.
Yay!
Alright, so
This has been an interesting stream.
It has been very interesting.
Does anyone think
Yeah.
that John got like immediately?
Hello, I'm back. Hopefully, this card reconnects soon. But yeah, hopefully I fixed it. Seems to be kind of stable now. Let me check if the stream itself is fine. Yeah. Don't know how to check it. Hold on. Here. Hello. Wait. Hello.
Hello, Marcus. You're back.
Did you fix your fucking internet?
I think I did.
And the stream's going right now.
Yeah, I checked. Okay,
Okay.
so it's in the same stream as well, which is good. So yeah, I
Oh,
did
thank
it.
goodness.
I just
Yeah,
had to
you
restart my
did
internet
it.
midstream, so that was great. I'm really glad I did that.
I'm loving the dancing Zemo in the corner. I
know.
approve.
Yeah,
He's still my favorite.
everyone has a
part.
problem with that. Oh, yeah, actually, can we actually say how Zemo is totally fine in the show? Like, he is good. He is not assassinated in any way, and anybody saying that Zemo has been
Dude, he's like-
assassinated in the show,
He's like the best part.
wow.
He's definitely the best.
Yeah.
part.
For me,
Yeah,
John Walker
he
is the best part, but in terms of like a character, I'm like, I just love everything he's doing. It's Zemo. Like,
It's like his
he's-
attempt
not
to
only has he
blend
got-
in.
yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: he is blending in because, let's be honest, you'll always see that person who's not really great at dancing. Like
Trying to
we
be there at the
meme that
scene.
he's like amazing dancer. We're memeing, of course, because like it's just a silly dance at a club. Like it's nothing serious, but like, he is just blending in. You know, anybody
Like,
who thinks that.
yeah.
Anyone who says that he is not blending in, and people are saying, "Oh my, why is he drawing attention to himself?" You
No
have
one
never
would
been
look-
to a
A
club
person
ever.
dancing
No
in
one
the
would look
club.
twice. No one would look twice at the guy who's trying to pretend he actually wants to be there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Imagine blending in a club by
And I'm-
dancing.
yeah.
Impossible. Unthinkable.
I can't believe I had to fucking debate Jay Longbone on the fact that Zemo dancing was
I thought it
in
was great.
character.
It just
She
like
was,
the,
she still wanted to die on the
his,
hill.
his half-assed
I'm
attempts
so-
to try and be there, but
yeah.
actually it just makes him look like he's really, really just part of the scene.
Mhm.
You probably think like everyone would look at him and think, "Oh, this guy thinks he's so cool. He's not smiling or anything. He's just dancing. He's just putting minimal effort into dancing." You know, the kind of guy who sits at the
think one
back,
of the
just sort of bobbing
moments-
his head. Like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck. This is like the amount of dance I will do.
I think one of my favorite parts of the latest episode, other than the John Walker stuff, was when Zemo literally just wrecked all of the super serums. I was just like, yes, fuck! I'm so fucking happy you're in character. Like, I'm so fucking happy they didn't, because in this episode they used the line from the trailer, but the edit they've clearly changed it. Like he says in this episode, super soldiers shouldn't be cannot exist.
Mhm.
And I'm so fucking happy he's so still in character. I'm very
Though
happy.
it does bring up the question of like how long have they had this super serum for, and how much have they already spread out to people?
They do address that though, with
Unless
what's his name?
or was it
I
or was
think they
John
only addressed it in
supposedly the
episode
first
3.
one?
In episode 3 they do. It's that guy who made the super
guy.
soldier serum. He was making them for Hydra until Hydra stopped
Yeah,
existing, and then he
went
started working for the CIA, and then he was snapped. And then when he came back, I think he lost his job or something. He wasn't able to do it anymore. And then though he made like 20 of the flasks and gave them to Carly
But
because
he
Carly was
has he not made any previously is the question. Like before
he
Hydra
found-
fell apart.
So he was able to isolate the serum from Isaiah's blood, and with that he started making it. So he was making it for Hydra and then for the CIA, but he didn't. He wasn't able to perfect it until he gave them to Carly, I guess.
Right, which was recent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's like one of those like loose ends they need to tie up more, because I wonder if like John Walker's the first person they've given it to, or there's other people out there like the black guy who
Well,
like could still very possibly be a threat, especially if like they've gone unchecked or unfollowed.
and the people that were taken, the ones that were supplied by Dr. Nagel, I think his name is,
Yeah.
those were the ones that Carly took and had started ejecting her and the Flag Smashers with, and they're trying to distribute it to others for their army, whilst the Power Broker,
They
who's
even
behind
wanted
the
to-
creations.
They wanted to recreate right the serum. Well, Carly said in
Yeah,
this
they-
episode, like they're trying to make more.
But I think they did make more, I think, because that's the stuff she has in her pack, and that's what Zemo destroyed.
I do have reservations though about this as a system, because if it's gotten to a point that it's easy to make, they can put it in a bottle, then this might, if they don't like give a good reason for why it is, once it is destroyed it is gone for good, then it is going to be an issue in like later things. Like, why didn't they give Falcon any or
Clearly,
something like
it's
that? Or
not
just-
easy to.
why
make
wouldn't they
them.
give any of their special? Why wouldn't they just give like any of their special soldiers any?
Well,
like,
that's the thing.
it's-
They don't
it's-
have the super soldier serum. It's that a scientist that has it, and he was dead for 5 years, and he wasn't working with the CIA anymore
But
when
it's
he came back.
but it's easy enough to make obviously it's not easy to make, but it's easy enough that a rogue group of people would attempt to and get close.
Yeah, a
Well, the
rogue group
reason
of
for that-
people, which is Flag Smashers, they have the thing and they want to recreate it. It's not the same thing as just creating it from scratch, which is like what they'd have to do now, because they don't have Isaiah's blood and they don't have us. Well, they have their own blood, I guess, but then they need
Yeah,
a
it's-
scientist
it-
who's a specialist in the field, and the scientist was killed in episode 3. The scientist who
But
did
you're
the
gonna
serum.
have people like the black super soldier who are just out there that can be found, and that's doubly annoying because people
What?
didn't fucking track where these people went. they're massively important assets, both biologically and militarily, and they just been forgotten about and
Hydra
not
was tracking Isaiah. Once
not
Hydra went
monitored.
down, then Isaiah went into hiding. He was being tested on. They got his blood. That's how the scientist guy got Isaiah's blood to test it to make the serum.
Yeah,
It was
but
from
no one's known about it. No one knows about him. That was the whole point of the scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, nobody knows about him
He's
because
been forgotten. He's been forgotten about.
Yeah, he was
throughout
hidden.
history.
Yeah, he was hidden because he was put in prison, and then Hydra did experiments on him. But of course, Hydra wouldn't want other people to know about him. Only person who knows about him is Bucky, because Bucky met him in 1951.
So
he's like people like that are a massive loose end.
Well, no, because
no.
So to explain the timeline, we have Isaiah fights in the war, then he's put in jail, and then for 30 years he's experimented on that by Hydra, who are doing this all in top secret as part of their experiments. So for however long, like 30 years and such, he's been kept hidden away where no one can know about him. So from the government's perspective, they have no idea if Isaiah is even alive. To them, he's dead. That's how he's hidden.
Did Bucky not tell anyone?
Well,
No,
he even says it to Falcon that he never told anyone because Isaiah had already been through enough.
Yeah. And Bucky knowing how that feels, that makes sense in his character to let him be alone.
Yep.
I suppose in a weird way, but you'd at least think like, hey, this guy's here. Let's just. Just from the very sense that he knows terrible super soldiers like the ones in Civil War can be made simply from a loose end like this. That they can be a massive threat to national security, and if there is in fact someone after him, it's probably good they keep tabs on him.
Yeah, Bucky clearly keeps tabs on him because he knows where Isaiah lives.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell anyone else.
Yeah, if he tells someone else, they could try to use him. If he tells like the government,
and this is the guy that's
he knows that
Isaiah is the guy who's hibernating in his room. This is the guy who's hibernating in his room and seeing therapy.
The reason why he doesn't tell anyone is because of his experiences with it. He can relate to that, and he's like, "You've been through enough." Bucky wanted to go off alone as well, which is why he went to Wakanda. He can't trust the US government because of his experiences in Civil War. So that's why he keeps it all to himself. He just wants to let the guy live in peace like the guy wants to. He keeps tabs on the guy in case anything does go wrong. So he clearly has a plan around it.
I suppose.
Is there anything else you have a problem with in Falcon Winter Soldier, or because
I mean, I'm not massive. I get the character reasoning, but I'm not massively sold on it. But I suppose that's just me. I don't know if anyone else feels the same. I feel like if anything, he would want to make sure this guy was like secure.
well,
And
he knows that,
keeping tabs on him is kind of like, yes, that would be a thing he would do, but Bucky's one guy. I just crashed.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't really find it an issue at all. He knows where he lives. He knows that he's laying low. He doesn't want anyone to bother Isaiah. He knows that Isaiah was a good person. He knows what Isaiah has been through. So I don't really see what the issue is with just having him leave Isaiah alone. Is there anything else, or? Okay, then. So are we okay to get back to the video?
Yeah.
All right.
Good to fun.
Let me get Boner Moment and Zemo Dance out of the screen. Hold on. There we go.
Now, when I saw this, and what also looked to be a predominantly black neighborhood by what they'd shown us prior to it, So that, in its sense, wouldn't have made any sense. They probably would have said to the white guy, "What are you doing here, dude? You're causing trouble." But that's just by the by.
Weren't there white people in the neighborhood?
Only Bucky.
I
I think
think-
that's what he's saying. That since it's Bucky and the neighborhood is.
I swear we
predominantly
get
black.
a shot of other people.
Yeah, I think. Let me check
I'm wa-
quick. I think
Oh,
one of
yeah.
them was at least white. Also, that doesn't
Yeah.
change him being wrong on the fact that they would question Falcon because Falcon appears to be the aggressor.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm back. That was weird. Sorry about that. Never mind. Discord decided to crash, but also keep me in the party. That was weird. It's not the first time it's done it. It's just
Right on Discord.
Amazing.
it works so well, so flawlessly.
Oh yeah. Last stream I was
CV.
Discord was
I just saw CV's tweet on ECUM and how it's just Zemo's dancing, boner moment, and then Babyface's face.
It's art, I know. I know.
Our content that looks just really weird.
Yeah, there's definitely other white people. You get a shot of a man with a goatee and a woman. They're both white, and they're with two people
Yeah.
of color next to them. So
Yeah. So again, he's wrong once again about the scene.
Yeah.
There are white people in this neighborhood. It's just the fact that it's a bad neighborhood.
Impossible.
Does make you wonder though if like they can just
Hold
You're
on,
very
roboting-
laggy
yeah,
right now,
you're
boys.
roboting a lot.
Yeah.
Let me changing it to Europe. Okay, I changed the region to Europe. It should be better in theory.
Are we here?
hello.
Yeah, what were you saying, voice?
Yeah, there's white people. I put the shot up now. There is definitely got mixed races of people here
yeah.
in this neighborhood.
Voice.
Hello.
Hey, what were you saying?
Bye.
Oh, I was making a joke. Is that they could just put the black guy at Wakanda. He'd feel at home there. Like
we
the
ha-
grumpy old American, grumpy old black American guys. Like this isn't what I'm used to.
we had the little
Bucket.
exchange between between Sam and the little child, the black child as well, who was like, "You're Black Falcon," and he's like, "No, I'm Falcon." Well, my dad says you're Black Falcon. Oh, just why? Because I'm black.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean,
So
yeah.
you got to put
What's the
black
problem?
in front of everything. Hmm.
Yeah, that was funny. And then he says, "Then what are you? Are you black?"
Sam
kid?"
literally is like, you
Kid.
probably shouldn't do that because race doesn't matter when you're a superhero. That was,
So what?
that was the
Hey, black
joke,
kid.
really.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
That was the joke.
also, I think it's kind of foreshadowing to the fact that if Falcon became Captain America, he would be called Black Captain America.
Black Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Black America.
and it's like,
Captain Black.
if you attribute black onto it, it displays connotations that are either negative or positive. But the point is, those connotations shouldn't be there. It should just be Captain America.
Hmm.
Hmm? Are you kid? Are you black kid? Yeah, got him.
Yeah, that
And
was
it was
funny.
just
Well, he
like,
was making like a
gosh,
lesson.
it's-
Here's the thing about that joke, right? That joke is a lesson to that kid. It's like you shouldn't really focus on people's races when they're just being good people or doing the right thing. You know, if you get what I mean. Like
Mhm.
Falcon is just Falcon. He's a hero. The fact that he's black has nothing to do with like him as a person, really.
Right.
He's just a superhero. Like he's so you shouldn't look up to him as like, well, he's a black person, so therefore I should look up to him and call him Black Falcon or whatever. Whatever the kid is like been told by his dad, clearly. Falcon, what he's saying is like, we shouldn't. Should I just call you Black Kid then?
Uh, uh, um,
To who they are as people, you know?
yeah.
That was clearly the sort of like joke slash messaging Sam was trying to say.
Yeah.
But he does it in a funny way, you know? He like, because that's kind of who he is.
Yeah, he jokes around and he teaches the kid a lesson. It's pretty normal. Which also shows how he'd be close to his nephews, who last time you saw them they were babies and other like grown kids, which is builds on that with what they did in the first episode with him and them, which I like.
Fuck off.
Oh.
It was just so on the nose and just like, come
How
on.
is it on?
We are trying.
That was the.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on the nose. It's certainly a scene that I think is mainly there for the joke, and you could do without. But it's not on the nose.
Yeah, I mean it's a comic relief moment.
I see nothing wrong with it. I
Yeah.
see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't really get and why this would be an issue.
By the way, I think we're still we've still got the Zemo dance playing on the screen. By the way.
I know. It's just
Oh, okay.
it's just
We
because
just keep-
Az isn't showing anything important in the scene, so I just put Zemo dance.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, all we need to see is his fucking face.
It's just there. I think the only thing I would say is everyone, the police bit is a bit of social, like, or racial commentary, and I really failed to see it when just like looking at things logically, like from an outside perspective.
Cop car was there.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, the cops are already patrolling. We see that because it's a rough neighborhood. The black guy happens to just be the one that's being loud and aggressive in tone and stance. So they come over and they ask, like, "Is it okay? Is this guy bothering you?" Sort of thing, which is, would be totally acceptable if like it was the other way round as well. And then like everyone says like the ask for ID thing, but it's like out of the two people,
They want to know who he is.
Yeah, out of the two people, the cop is going to pick on the one who's been the one creating a disturbance out of the two.
Everyone keeps saying that they're trying to arrest Sam. They never threaten him with arrest at all. So I don't. They will put if he was like going to continue being aggressive to the police, then probably. But all they're doing is asking for his ID in that moment.
And I mean, that's the joke, isn't it? He says to Sam, "Stay calm, sir," and Sam responds, "I am calm," but he yells it. So that's the joke, isn't it? It's like, calm down. I am calm.
Yeah.
So I've never seen it. I didn't see it as like a racial thing at all. But like scene. But here's the problem. Though. Everyone says it is. And the scene seems to try and paint it like it is, because obviously it pans to Sam's like disgruntled face when he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you were Falcon," as if like him being black is suddenly forgiven because he's a superhero, and that's why the cop, addressed him in the first place. But like the whole scene just makes sense logically. I don't see a racial thing to it. So if anything, if that is a message the scene is trying to show, it's not even a particularly good one.
Well, so a lot of what happens, because the reason why I think it's very good, is a lot of racial experiences when it comes to law enforcement, they're very subtle with it, and usually it's hard to tell how are they doing it. So in this case, it's the fact of how much they press on the Falcon, and the reason why it gets hard to perceive is because what they're doing logically makes sense. It's just how far do they go? There's some obvious examples where we could see clearly there's racism. Derek Chauvin last year, but most of the time it is very similar to this. Same with gender issues as well. Like if you're male, you're more likely to be stopped than female because males are seen to contribute more to crime, but they do it in a very subtle way.
I don't really see when he says "I am calm" as him as a joke. I think it's more he gets emotional because, well, like Jeb said, they keep pressing. Like, it's like, oh, and then when they say, oh, you're Falcon, I'm sorry, like, when the guy whispers in the cop's ear, oh, I think they're Avengers, and it's like, for them, it's like, oh, now that I'm an Avenger, it's okay that we were doing this, now that, I'm a hero. And it's kind of shows like a double standard from the police, which annoys Falcon, which I guess is why he got it.
It'd be a double standard regardless of like who it would be. Like they suddenly let you off the hook because you're a hero. Like even if you'd done something bad, it would be a double standard.
Right. Yeah. That's so it's like them pressing on Falcon and then him saying, and then him getting upset because he knows that the moment they realize who he is, they're gonna be like, oh no, never mind.
And also I find the fact that even though Bucky says they're fine, he still keeps going.
That is true. That is a point. Like, well, that is a good point. He's like, no, this guy's fine, and then they still keep speaking. But it's like, okay, now what? Like, even if this is something racial, you're not even going to be able to get away with it because the other guy is standing right there and can see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's why police, when they have racial bias, they tend to be very subtle to try and get away with it. So people could be like, well, no, it completely makes sense why they're doing it, but maybe people who are affected by this, whether they're a certain minority, they're like, no, we can understand more what's going on since we've gone through those personal experiences, kind of deal.
I think there's one thing if I were to try and
to be like, ooh,
add
a
on
black
to the.
person.
There's one thing I was thinking about when after the scene for a couple days to improve the scene. I think what I would do is I have the cop who's obviously talking because I have that all stay the same. But what I would do with the other cop, because the other cop doesn't do anything up until he whispers in the other cop's ear, what I would have him do is sort of linger back a bit and have him tell the actor to look at Falcon and sort of have a puzzling face and try to make it seem like he's trying to figure out who he is because he kind of recognizes him, and then have him realize who Sam is, then whisper in the guy's ear. I think that would probably actually improve the scene just a tad, I think. Because I think the other cop, he just stands there, doesn't really say anything or do anything before he whispers in the cop's ear. I think that would actually sort of help all the other factors of the scene work a bit better.
I think it's like a racial thing.
You're cutting out a lot, Vice.
Fuck's sake.
That came through.
Okay, it's came back now. I think. It's just when people paint it as like the cop came over because it's like, ooh, a black person. I'm gonna be racist.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like,
that.
There's a good reason they came over. There's probably a good non-racial reason they came over, and then it just turned into something else.
Yeah, like there was an argument. There was a little argument going on.
But person, I'm gonna be an asshole. That would be funny though. I'll the car and they go, "Hey, dude, black person." They go, "Oh, good. I'm bored." And then they go, "Oh shit, it's Falcon. Run away."
You know what I find funny though about the scene as well that people just don't seem to pick up on and talk about at all? The fucking white man gets arrested in that scene.
Oh yeah.
Like Bucky gets arrested after this argument. Obviously for a different reason, but you know, like, come on, guys.
Yeah, people seem to miss a lot of context to criticize Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Right, we want these shows to be entertained, not to have your stupid BLM messaging shoved down our throats.
It was funny.
Yeah. But that wasn't the major reason that got me wound up, although it kind of feels like it, by the way. I'm getting quite animated. No, the main reason that I was wound up is because the show doesn't take any of the history of the films into consideration.
What?
I.e., those two gentlemen right here are fucking megastars.
They're
not megastars.
I mean,
Nobody knew who Falcon was.
5 years.
Nobody knew
Also,
who Falcon
Bucky
was.
isn't a megastar, you idiot. He was a fucking Winter Soldier.
If anything, they've tried to cover
You
Bucky's
fucking
history.
idiot.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
tried
God,
to
you're
cover
such a
Bucky's history.
moron.
He even has a different haircut now. But like, okay, so Falcon, he helps Captain America in Winter Soldier, and then
Bucky would be the more popular. Falcon would definitely be the more popular one out of the two.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but like, let me just go through this. So in Age of Ultron, Falcon and Winter Soldier they don't appear. Then in Civil War, Falcon helps Captain America, but then he becomes a fugitive for 2 years. After that, he's dead for 5 years, and then he comes back and he's working with as a free agent, like contractor, doing government spy jobs. So then, why would everyone know who he is? Like, nobody has seen him in like 5 years. Well, half the world hasn't seen him in 5 years, and for the other half, he's been on the run. So of course, they wouldn't see him anyway. And then, like, even the cop says, "I didn't recognize you without the goggles." So clearly, the lack of uniform doesn't make it clear that it's him, which is something that happens in real life. Like, we have the thing Henry Cavill did with him wearing the glasses to prove that the Superman glasses disguise actually works. He did that. He was wearing glasses in the middle of the street. Nobody recognized him. And then with Bucky in 2014, nobody knew who he was. So it was only in 2016 in Civil War where people thought he killed T'Chaka, and then he was in Wakanda for 2 years, and then Infinity War happened, and then he was dead for 5 years. So if people you're right, Voice. People know Falcon more than Winter Soldier, but either way, these are not that recognizable. Like, it's not like Wanda or fucking Captain America or Tony. It's like these people, they aren't that public personalities, which is not even something they want to do. They don't want to be public personalities.
But the only chance that someone would know Falcon would be like from the brief time between Age of Ultron and Civil War, where they were all working together with Captain America as like the Avengers B team. Like the opening of Civil War, where they go do the mission, they fight Crossbones, and I forget where they went. Where was it that they went again in Civil War?
To fight Crossbones in the beginning? Lagos.
Yeah, right. So I assume they've had missions before as a group, the Falcon, Black Widow, and
oh yeah, for sure.
Wanda.
He's part of the Avengers. He shows up in the end of Age of Ultron to become part of the new Avengers, I guess.
So that's the only way I can see like Falcon being recognized is just stint there.
A very brief period.
I don't know.
Before.
I don't know what happens after Civil War, because obviously Captain America comes out in the post-credit scene and releases them. So I don't know what they've been doing since then, unless it's like special covert ops, like out of eyes of the government, just doing shit. But even then, people would probably recognize them. There'd be like Reddit pages about them and everything.
And I kind of want to add two things. People will probably go, "Oh, because they're fugitives, they should be known in infamy." If you attribute to real world, kind of list off what fugitives you know, and to be honest, most will only go Osama bin Laden because, well, 9/11, and
list a fugitive that you know. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, because the reality is we don't remember fugitives because infamy, and they're
We
off
don't get
hidden.
fucking told about fugitives.
Yeah, and they're also away from news because they're hiding. And then to strengthen Marcus's Henry Cavill thing, the context was Henry Cavill went to an area where it was Batman vs Superman marketing everywhere, and he didn't even have his glasses on. It was just him, and he had a Superman shirt on. No one recognized Henry Cavill, despite his face being all over the place.
Like he was told to move away from a coffee shop because he was just he was just posing outside. Nobody recognized him.
So like I could buy that. Falcon would be recognised outside the uniform if that can happen in the real world.
Yeah, and they do recognize him afterwards. The guy says, "Oh, I think they're Avengers," and the other guy's like, "Oh, sorry, Falcon. I didn't recognize you without the goggles." So
That's the part that gets me the most. He fucking says about the goggles. What more do you want?
Also, the frame of mind would be focused on who is this person, in the sense of trying to recognise them through their eyes. It's more, can we stop this altercation from getting worse?
And like the only thing they could say about Bucky is like, oh, weren't you the guy that killed T'Chaka?
which his name has been cleared since then. They know he didn't kill T'Chaka, so
Yeah. The fact that he actually called Bucky a megastar is fucking hilarious to me.
They're certainly not megastars. They're like B-list celebrities, and that's not because they don't do important shit. It's just that probably people don't talk about them.
yep.
Yeah, the focus on the time is the heroes that died.
The whole part of a secret agent is that you don't know them.
These people here are some of the most famous people that are currently walking
We already debunked this or
planet
whatever.
Earth.
They're famous
They
to
are
us
two
as an
members
audience.
of the Avengers.
No,
Like,
they're not.
Literally,
They were members of the Avengers for like 1 year, and then they were on the run because of Civil
Bucky's
War.
not an
until-
Avenger.
Yeah, that's a
Bucky
good
is
point.
an
Bucky was
Avenger.
never an Avenger. Yeah.
The only people I would say who are part of the Avengers who I like, you could probably throughout the entire MCU that you'd probably say could get recognized would be like Thor, Captain America, and Tony Stark.
Hulk as well.
And well, yeah, Hulk for more like visual, like visually, you know. But no, I don't think people would actually recognize Bruce Banner on the street.
No.
That
It's like, oh yeah, they go, oh yeah, and this is the Hulk, and everyone would look at Bruce Banner and go, nah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think anybody would recognize fucking Black
Witch.
Widow on the street. I don't think anybody would recognize Hawkeye on the street. I don't think anybody would recognize like who else.
And
They
well,
could
and that's-
recognize Don Cheadle's Brody,
Machine,
maybe. War
Oh,
Machine,
I
maybe.
think they would recognize Rhodey way more because he's done stuff for the government, even like showing up on TV or whatever,
Sure.
because of being War Machine and Iron Patriot. So
even before becoming War Machine as well, he was.
yeah, he was high decorated.
From
Hey,
the
the end of Iron Man, he gets a medal. Him and Tony.
I haven't
so-
watched Iron Man in a hot minute, so yeah.
But like, just say these two would be recognized. That's I don't agree with that at all.
saved the universe.
No, they did. No one knows
That
that.
brought back the missing.
They don't establish if
50%
they
Yeah, it
told
was
the whole story.
these two didn't have anything to do with that. They were like the smallest part of the fight in Endgame. The people who actually brought
That is
people back
actually
was
really
Hulk.
true.
Like Hulk
Yeah.
was the one who
They were-
brought people back. Tony was the one who sacrificed himself to kill the entire army from the other side. And
They shot and punched things.
yeah, it was so like they would be as recognizable as like a random Wakandan soldier by his
I
logic.
forget. Does Falcon pick up the gauntlet at any point in the
No.
Endgame
Nope.
fight? 'Cause
No.
oh, okay.
Neither does Bucky.
I've invented a scene in my head where Falcon had the gauntlet at one point when they're playing Keep Away.
No, I think it's Black Panther, and then it goes to
Oh, they all look
Spider-Man?
the same.
yeah, it goes to Spider-Man. Yeah, oh god.
Pepper Potts does at one point. Well, carries Peter. I
Carries
guess, in
Peter.
Yeah.
Echo.
Oh yeah, that's the moment I was
You
trying to
told
remember
me.
because I thought it was Falcon who carried Peter, but yeah, it's yeah. So in this is also when Captain America throws the Mjolnir and Spider-Man rides Mjolnir with his web while holding the gauntlet, which is a
By the way,
mental
chat,
sentence to
anyone that hisses at that joke, it's not true racism if it's funny.
Of the population. that defeated Thanos and prevented him from destroying the universe completely.
Also, isn't
these are megastars.
They're
These
not.
people would
Stop
be
saying that.
showered with adoration and
they wouldn't.
praise. Their
No, they wouldn't.
visages
Bucky
would be
definitely wouldn't.
Why would Bucky be what?
Why are you so retarded, Beheel
was Winter
versus
Soldier.
Two-Face?
This is like what people
Unless-
say about like TLJ defenders say about Luke, that people have that vision of like, oh, Luke is just this guy who's gonna go fight ATSTs and destroy them and everything all on his own and kill a bunch of stormtroopers. And it's like that idealized version that they say people have, and this is like this is as an idealized version of what the
It's-
MCU is instead of actually what it actually is. Because like these
it
characters are
sounds-
not like
It almost sounds like he's conflating like the popularity that these characters have to us as an audience with like how popular
I
they
think
would
he
be in the real world.
Definitely does. I think he definitely is.
Unless they actually have a line that like, yeah, there was a massive celebration for the members of mankind that stood and saved the world, and like in the massive lineup of people, they remember these two guys specifically, because of course, like all the sorcerers and all the Wakandans and like armies of men are there as well. So it's a huge collective of people. So unless they specifically point out the superheroes and there's a big celebration and Captain America or whoever's left in charge, I guess, I don't know. Well, I don't even know who's in charge, but it'd just be like, yeah, these people, they did it. We should be thankful for them, which is like nothing they've ever addressed or like mentioned before. So we don't know how much credit these guys got. If they'd even want the credit based on their characters in this show.
they definitely.
I don't
wouldn't
think
want.
Bucky would at all. Bucky would definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, no, Bucky especially, but I also feel like Falcon wouldn't want it. Definitely, even like if he rejects the shield, so I'd say that also shows how he would not.
He
want
needs to stop saying they're megastars because
Dude, Editron, that's dark as fuck what you just put on Discord. Oh
you know,
no.
when I was a kid, I was actually a fan of Captain America. Like 10, 20 minutes later, gets murdered by the new Captain America.
I
Never
love
meet
that
your
detail.
heroes.
It makes that scene more.
Here's the
chilling.
thing: if it does end up that this show isn't as well written as we thought it was, there's still a good fucking ton of great details in the show that I think we can at least say it's flawed, but it has really good stuff in it.
That's really fucking horrible to think about.
I know,
That was a
it's
huge
really
fan.
dark.
It's like the Spider-Man, Jesus. 20 minutes later, is almost killed by Superman. Like, oh, but
You
like,
was
that-
you were cut out for a bit there.
the Flash says like, I'm a huge fan of Superman, and then they bring him back to the dead, and Superman nearly kills him.
Yeah, and that
Yeah, but
doesn't
here's the
shake
thing,
at
that,
all.
like, they don't-
the Flash's,
They just shake that off. They never bring
Yeah,
it
that
up.
doesn't happen
Here,
at all.
Here, this is obviously clearly a link. Like,
Yeah.
he was a fan of Captain America, and the new Captain America kills him. You know?
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
a really
clear
great
link.
payoff.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
that must be a dark fucking thing to see. Like you don't even do anything if you
Oh,
when
no.
it's Captain America's fucking
Yeah,
fucking
like
going out like you fucking spawn a Satan.
yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, it's fucking dark, but the face John
funny.
Walker makes is out of context. It is very funny. And then you realize the next moment he literally chops his head off with the shield.
I don't know why, but it just makes you think you seen a spider on the floor or something.
Kill
Yeah, it does have that face. Like he's
That's
seen
right,
like a spider in the corner, and he's like, shit, and he's scared of spiders. Or no, I saw this tweet earlier, or meme like earlier. It's like what she sees.
Oh,
What you see versus what she sees. It's good shit. The show's supplying a lot of good memes. I will
It's a
say
good
that.
meme.
yeah.
I love that.
Zima dancing and Elvis.
Jesus fuck.
all over the place, sponsors, Mercedes,
you've what? No,
Porsche,
stop!
Lamborghini, the whole
Stop!
job would be
What you keep doing this?
Yes,
knocking
I
their
think
door
I
down
think
for sponsorship.
yeah, because Lamborghini or whatever whoever makes Lamborghinis, they would love the Winter Soldier as their mascot, wouldn't they? I think that would be a great marketing strategy to have, you know, the murderer of probably hundreds and thousands of people, like as the face of, hey, you want to buy this really cool car? The Winter Soldier likes it.
The murderer of Tony Stark's parents as well. Let's make that clear.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I know it's not.
Now.
I know it's not what he said, but I really like the idea that they would recognize these guys because there's porn parodies of them.
in the MCU, there probably is like
Probably,
there's probably like a Thor porn parody somewhere in the MCU.
You know, in
was
fucking
porn parodies.
the Boys season 2, they have a parody of that, like where they show fucking.
Yeah, that's a fucking great bit. Like, of course there would be.
I mean, yeah, they overdo it in the episode, but yeah, the fact that there is a porn parody of them is really funny.
Sponsorship deals and all this kind of stuff.
No, they wouldn't. So
They
shut
would
up.
be some of the most famous people
Only if they
alive
wanted to,
today.
you fucking moron.
How long has he been trying to say this point for? Like a full 40 seconds now, and he's
Yeah, we get
been
it.
so wrong.
We get it.
So
you're wrong,
guys, I get it. You think they're famous, even though we've just given points as to why, especially Bucky would not be anything like what you're saying he supposedly should be. So just get to the fucking point.
Also,
Bucky definitely
also
doesn't want to be famous.
yeah, that's what I was going to add. Bucky would turn all this down. He prefers to live in private.
Yeah, he would not be someone who wants the attention. So I don't really get it. Like, he hides the fact that he is a Winter Soldier and everything when he goes on that date with that girl in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, why do you think he's covering up his metal arm?
yeah, he uses a glove. He uses gloves for that. She even asks, "Oh, why do you use gloves?" And he says, "I have a poor circulation." It's like, he clearly doesn't want you to be recognized. He cut his hair. He's not using the same haircut he did as the Winter Soldier. It's like, clearly he wants you to move past it.
So the very fact that the police don't even know who they are, the very fact
They wouldn't know Bucky.
that
100%.
they just play the race card because Sam's black.
Yes, they.
Well, he's been the
Yeah, why else
aggressor
would I
in a
hate the race card?
conversation conflict with Bucky.
Not like the police doesn't have racial bias, right? That
What
would never
is this?
happen.
Why is this such a fucking unexplainable concept to them? Like, they just don't get it. I hate always saying like you don't get it. I hate that like that saying for most things. It's very clear they don't understand what the scene is like. The context of this scene is so fucking weird.
Also, what annoys me is, this is, as I said earlier, it's the first ever instance of MCU really dealing with racism outside Black Panther, and it's the first instance for Falcons, and they act like this has always been the case, and that it's so overt and everything. It's like that they haven't even dealt with this issue or characterized Falcon in a way that
To be
humanizes them.
fair, Black Panther's talks on racism was about as subtle as getting slapped in the face.
Well, yeah, and the problem isn't even the
Yeah.
lack of subtleties in that. It's just, it's so retarded, the way they do everything in that film. That
People
film's
are
shit.
Killmonger. People are racist, so we have to kill everyone that's not us.
Yes,
And
let's
you're
genocide
hang on
white
a
people
second.
because we're oppressed, I guess. Okay. Killmonger is such a terrible villain.
It really is quite bad.
So
Still better than Step.
ridiculously stupid.
Are you?
And so when you have an audience that most likely has invested a lot of their time over the last decade and more in the Marvel MCU,
The Marvel MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just find it funny.
Marvel's
Marvel
just-
Cinematic Universe.
even if he said like in Marvel's MCU, it'd still be a bit odd because I feel like that's what he was trying to say. But just
In
say,
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah, exactly. It's still stupid.
Yeah.
In Marvel's Cinematic Universe, you can literally just say that.
I was waiting for him to finish his point as well because he says, "Oh, he spent over a decade invested in the MCU," but I thought he was gonna say in these characters, even though these characters haven't existed at this time. Well, I mean, Bucky
The
has.
only
but-
thing I will say is, aside from like the lines we get about Falcon saying that he gave up the shield, why can't you just accept that he thought what he did was the right thing? We don't have much of a reason for why this scene exists other than just racism happens. They've yet to explore as a character thing like how much this kind of thing.
I think you cut off their voice. Yeah.
I think it's gone. Well done, Discord.
Oh, okay, he's back.
Can you hear me?
You're kind of roboting a bit, but
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. For some reason my Discord keeps dropping in and out. I might need to refresh again. The only thing I was saying is like because they haven't explored that much for Falcon for why he gave up the shield outside of he didn't want the responsibility. He thought what he did was the right thing.
Well, he clearly doesn't feel like it belongs to him. He doesn't feel like he's...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But there hasn't been a whole lot of like a racial reason for why he gave it up. So this scene, as it stands, unless they develop it, doesn't really add much apart from like us understand that racism is happen.
I don't think it relates at all to racism, the fact that he gave up the shield. I didn't even correlate the two.
Yeah, but then the question is, why does this scene exist? Why does this scene exist other than to remind us that racism is a thing?
Well, the reason
it bothers Falcon.
The reason why I see it as existing is giving a clearer picture of the current state, especially for civilians. So we're getting multiple nuanced conversations going. So like we got, for example, how governments are mistreating its citizens with the flag smashers and their motivations. We got the racial prejudice with law enforcement. We've got Asaya being covered up. It's showcasing how flawed the world is currently and what Captain America has to represent and has to do better.
The only thing I'd say about the racist law enforcement one, unlike the government stamping on the little person, is that there are things that are happening for characters because of that. There is an impact from that element that we know is very much a real thing. Not to say racism isn't a real thing, obviously, but like the whole racism thing here, that hasn't had an impact on a character's decision so far in this episode. Like if they were to tie it to like the Falcon saying, I don't want to be the face of America because America's clearly racist. It's like, that would be like a dumb take, but it's at least a take for like why the character would make this choice outside of us understanding racism is a thing, which obviously everyone understands. This scene doesn't have an impact on any character. It's just there to remind you that A, law enforcement is corrupt, and B, people can be racist.
Yeah, it's why I'm thinking it's more of a world building situation.
That they need to. If this is going to be a thing that goes anywhere, then this is going to be a scene you could remove and have nothing change. Like there's no impact to the story or anything. It will be, unless there's something that builds upon this. This will be a scene that you could cut out and have nothing to the show change about, which just would make this a very thin scene. It would be a very weak thing to be like almost like the writers going, "Hey, audience, racism's bad," and then we go, "Yeah, does this affect the story at all?" And they go, "No." Yeah, oh, so why is this here?
I see it more as it's building upon the whole notion of flaws. So the more you're adding, the more clear you're putting it, and it's going up on the scale in terms of severity with governments and Western society. So you start off with this seemingly innocent event, and then you're seeing people being ousted out of homes and not getting the support needed, or teachers being under-resourced, sort of deal.
So it's purely to build on the idea that society is fucked at the moment.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be doing.
I could get behind that, but then all of these scenes, if that's the thing, all of these scenes add nothing more than what could have just been a 2-minute conversation.
This was like this wasn't very longer than 2 minutes either. It builds on.
Yeah, I know, but
and it moves
you
the plot
could
forward.
but you could have crammed all of these things into one conversation, like government corruption, racism.
Well, but that's the thing. They
abuse of power.
have said that this stuff exists, but it's also good to show it existing and how it could, how it affects not even just people like the Flag Smashers, but also people that are our heroes, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But here's the thing: this scene doesn't affect either of them.
Clearly, it affects Sam. He was clearly upset of that was happening to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, he gets upset in the scene, but like I said, there's no building thing to this so far. We don't know if it's something that is. Sam hasn't expressed he's bothered by this continuously. This isn't a thing that he's continuously fighting against or anything, or that he stands against it. I'm sure he does, but I don't. We could have assumed that anyway.
Yeah, but that's not the issue. Like we said, it's world building, showing that the world is fucked, and there's still racial abuse, and there's police not knowing what to do, and you have these places that are fucking like this place is not a good neighborhood. So it's like it's good to show that the world isn't just reset back to normal after people were brought back, which is something they mentioned, and it's like the point of the Flag Smashers. And then yeah, they do build on this when even Falcon says that he supports the cause that Carly's fighting for in episode 4, but then he says he just doesn't support the he doesn't support their method. So clearly this stuff like this affects him on like an emotional level, a personal level, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I got nothing more to add. So.
And the reason why it's not done in a conversational way and more fleshed out throughout the show, because that's is to emphasize these aspects and to let them sort of process through and get discussion started.
Yeah, so I think we're ready to move on with the video.
In the Iron Man films, in the Captain America films, and then the Avengers movies, and then the spin-off movies, and then all culminating in Infinity War and Endgame, to be insulted with this trash, which they're trying to propagandize their BLM messaging.
So this is like fucking saying someone asks who James Bond is because they don't know who James Bond is.
This doesn't say anything about the Black Lives Matter movement, so why do people keep saying that it's about the Black Lives Matter messaging?
Just want to say, he doesn't go, aside from Black Panther or Captain Marvel, especially Black Panther, which is more you could associate with Black Lives Matter stuff.
Oh no, yeah, Black Panther is way more BLM than this show is. I don't get how this relating this to BLM.
Again, I think that I stand on the complete opposite side. That this is like I understand the idea. It's like it's adding to the laundry list of issues that the government, that the country currently has.
Yeah. So it's just Like, I don't know. He says it's like just the BLM agenda being clearly pushed when it's clearly not. It's not like in fucking Batwoman they have a moment where they show ACAB written on the wall and they say all crows are bastards, and like Ryan, the main character, Batwoman, says all crows are bastards, and it's like, oh, very clearly what they're doing here, pushing an ACAB fucking movement, like them propping up that movement through the show. It's not this that they're doing in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, I feel like people just see stuff like Batwoman and feel like anything that has any thing that is even remotely political is regarded as being fucking pure SJW, like Batwoman. There's like degrees.
Probably would have come out in reality and said, "Oh my god, do you mind if we get an autograph and a selfie with you? Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bucky, for
saving
killing
the world,
so many
bringing
people
back my
in your
daughter who vanished. My
what,
Back
50,000.
but they also vanished, you fucking moron. How would they bring back people that vanished if they were also
They
vanished? They of
vanished.
course didn't help with that.
Yeah, it's
All they
not.
did was help the fight.
It's not just that either. That is probably how it would have gone if they had recognized Falcon. The reason why they don't react like that is because they're like, shit, we gotta like make clear that there's no issue here, and then they're like, wait, there's a warrant out for Bucky. So that would be how it played out if they did recognize Falcon.
Yep.
I mean, even if they did, Falcon's outfit involves him wearing a full bodysuit and like partial covering over his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a retarded point for Maz.
That's off the idea that they even recognize him anyway, because he wouldn't be popular.
who vanished, my wife, my husband. Thank you. But no, we got to racially profile, and everywhere that Sam walks, discrimination walks hand in hand with it.
When has that ever
Well,
happened other than
well,
the
that's-
scene?
I mean, everywhere he goes.
It's like they extrapolate this whole false narrative onto it, and it's kind of telling. The issue with movements like the Phantom Menace or people associated, they exaggerate the situation, and whilst I could back the whole notion of, okay, we need to stop with certain allowing like political agendas negatively impact the rating. When they spout shite like this, it's like, I can't back you. And it's kind of undermining that kind of notion.
Sorry, I was playing with Zemo Dance on screen.
Him because Sam's now just a pathetic black victim.
What?
What?
Yeah, you said.
What?
What are you on about?
That seems very racist of Az to say, because he's extrapolating so much. Okay.
Well,
is he gonna be on this point? Because if he doesn't, this is just really weird.
Now, according to Doomcock Overlord DVD, using the totes, is it? The totes averages about when people tune out of a show. According to his source, over the course of Friday and Saturday, a full 79, let's just round it up, 80% of people that were tuning in stopped watching at this very point in the story.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, well,
Literally
like
no one
60% of Americans think angels are real. So
like that's
Okay.
let that sink in though. The claim is 80% of viewers.
Wait, yeah, actually,
stopped
I'm gonna.
watching.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this with you guys. So I just looked at the IMDb ratings, right? Because they show how many people rated each episode. Keep in mind, this new episode. Oh, actually, I didn't show the 4th episode. I'm retarded. But anyway, keep in mind that of course the ratings would diminish because that's how TV shows work. So it goes from 11,000 people rating the first episode because it's the first episode and people want to rate it, and then 8,000 to 6,500. So you dropped what 2,000 through each episode of how people rate, how many people rated it. That also doesn't mean that many people that these people stop watching, because people usually just rate like either the first episode or the episodes that they think are like the best or the worst, because they want to like share their frustration or their admiration. So it's like I don't like, it doesn't seem to be 80%. Like, of course this isn't very indicative of, because it's just IMDb ratings, but I feel like you need to back that up way better by showing like showing actually like actual numbers, the actual things that you can prove that people stop watching. And the thing with streaming is that streaming services never do that, so it's impossible to know. So this is pure like conjecture.
Yeah, like, yeah, they've got to kind of understand, because if we go by the first episode, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because those are released, it's reported that 1.7 million households tuned into the opening weekend for the premiere. So let's say it retained, I don't know, 1.3 million. To say 80% of those, that's ludicrous. That's not going to happen. That'd be disastrous. It's regarded as the most popular show around right now because MCU.
Does that even take into account the people that like pause and come back later?
I don't know. They stop
I
watching.
think it's just literally people who literally have turned it off physically.
Yeah,
around
it
this time.
Seems
stamp.
like it's that. I don't know. This isn't very clear because it's fucking bounding at your comics. So.
And if you go 80% of people all tuned out just because it said something with a racial undertone, I think that's kind of concerning. How many people are so against it that the instant they see something, they're not going to watch the show anymore. They all click off.
I just see it as projecting, because to me this is almost a nothing scene to my. Obviously you don't agree with me. It's fine. It's like I sit on the complete opposite side. This scene is almost nothing.
I mean, it doesn't. It's not really something that will affect a lot of the quality if that scene itself was bad. Like, it's just a scene and you move on from it. Like, if you get so hung up on one scene, fucking Christ, grow up.
This isn't
Also,
like
the scene,
people.
like in terms of the immediate use of the scene, this is a scene that gets Bucky arrested, so we can get him and Sam to have the sort of therapy moment.
But you know that they could have. Again, it's one of those though. They could have walked out of, and I still can't pronounce his name because I'm stupid. But they could have just walked out of the house and someone be there on patrol, being like, "Oi, you haven't been to therapy. Go.
I mean, yeah, well, that's, the thing is, I feel like that wouldn't be as good because they would just like know where he is. In that moment, the police just turn up and it's like, oh, there's a warrant out for you. And after they realize that it's him, because if they just knew where he was, that would be worse, I'd say. Because, well, why would they know where Bucky was? Francine, you're asking if the name is Overlord DVD or Doomcock. The DVD is like for Dictor Van Doomcock or some shit like that, and he says he doesn't want to use that name for his channel because of the dick in the name, or the cock, and then he so he uses Overlord DVD.
I like the idea that he's against just the dict in the first part of his name, but not the cock in the last.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why do you fucking call yourself that then?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, the guy who's always got a reliable source. Is it? Okay.
Oh yes, it's very.
You still the reliable source for the last almost 2 years. Okay, it's not happening. They don't.
You cut off again.
Discord Bealism.
Disney need time or the patience to try and use time travel to undo the sequels.
Yeah, but Dumbcock says they would do it, so just you wait.
Yeah, but it came from a reliable source, guys.
Remember-
Very reliable.
Remember, Kathleen Kennedy no longer controls Lucasfilm, and it's Favreau Filoni. Until Carano got fired, then it's
Kathleen Kennedy's
Kennedy
fault,
again.
yeah.
And judging by the
Okay, thanks, Discord. Every time, like, voice just starts to talk. It's just...
Anything he's trying
remember,
to say something.
Okay, let's try this again.
You said, and remember, going by Mandalorian, then you cut off.
Going by Mandalorian, I don't see how Jon Favreau is going to be much better.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
You can trust he will spoon feed you characters that you already know.
Yeah, at least we're gonna have the awesome cameos by every character we've ever seen in the entirety of Star Wars.
It was so cool though. I can't wait for Han Solo's Darth Vader corridor scene. I just want, like, can we have a meme for Dictor Van Doomcock? But it's just, it's just got just where's the source? As like the meme joke to it.
Yeah, it's just basically, what's your source, dude? Trust me.
Where's the sauce?
Anyway, no,
Gordon Ramsay.
Getting back to the video.
This point has stuck with me, and it stuck with me because it was so bad. And it stuck with me because it was so pathetic and out of context. I don't want to say out of context, I mean out of context for what had happened in their world.
Well,
I mean, dude, there's shitter stuff
Yellow
in
Flash
here
mentioned
than
in his
that.
video, and I've mentioned this myself. There is a much more interesting story in the people that came back from the blip, the snap. Suddenly, the world would be a massively different place.
Which it is.
People would have moved into homes that people who have come back owned.
They literally talk about this
They
in later
literally
episodes.
say that in episode 4.
So, like,
Harley
this is
says
like-
that people moved into the place where they
like,
live.
Obviously, he doesn't know that because he made this after episode 2. But the fact that like he clearly doesn't have faith that they were going to do that, but they
Well, I
did.
wouldn't-
They
I
literally
wouldn't
explain it in
make-
the latest episode.
You don't make a claim like that until the series is finished.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like saying they never made John the bad guy. What if they literally do that?
I mean, clearly they did that in episode 4, but it's
They're
like,
going to do it.
yeah,
Like that's, if anything, that's like one of the dumb parts. I think is like John comes into the room after knocking Zemo out, sees the suspicious fluid on the floor, and decides he's going to take it.
it's not suspicious. He knew what they were after.
Yeah, but why would you do that?
Why would he
Like-
take it? Because he wants to be a super soldier. It's clear. He wants the
Pick up-
power.
It's like pick up the drugs on the floor.
It's
and be like,
the established reason why is because he feels he can't protect the country as a normal person because he got beat up easily by the
Well, yeah, they had
flag
the
smashers.
yeah, and then he picks it up, keeps it, and then he has the conversation with Lamar about like, should I take it? Because that's obviously what he's asking without
Actually
asking
asking,
it.
yeah. He says, well, would you take it if you had the chance and everything?
And then Lamar says yes.
Yeah, he's like without question.
And that was his justification for it, taking it.
Yeah, and they
But
knew they
then
were after
it's
the
just-
serum anyway, because that's what their plan was with Zemo.
No,
shooting
it's
there.
just the does he know that it's safe?
Yes, because other
Well, I
people
don't
have
think he
taken it.
cares.
That
again?
that same serum has been taken by the Flag Smashers, and they're okay. And by that point, they've taken Lamar when he takes the serum, so he doesn't care if it's safe or not when he actually takes it.
That's a good point. Okay.
Jobs,
Like and yeah,
schools, all this type of business, life would be turned upside down.
Good thing the show addresses this.
Explain it
isn't it?
later.
I'm very happy
Yes.
the show addresses this, and he's just saying that it doesn't. Oh, I like this screenshot of his face. Hold on.
Episode 4
hope
really makes it look
Maybe
stupid,
someone
doesn't it?
knows
Mm.
He's got
It
a
really
very
does, actually.
expressive face,
Mhm.
and
Does
So that's the thing. He can make good content. He did it with the Doctor Who stuff, but it's like when he gets into the political aspect, it becomes quite tismy.
You only say that he makes good Doctor Who content because he read your 65,000 Doctors thing. We know you're biased.
Yeah, that. Ah, shit. You got me.
You got me. Like, this is kind of embarrassing how he's like claiming this. It's like he's claiming this as if the show is done. Like there's nothing more. And he's like, they don't even explain anything. They don't explore anything to do with the blip. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
The people on Earth are 5 years older than the people who have been brought back. They've been brought back at the very
Even Far
same
From Home
age
explored that.
that they got
a lot, but they didn't.
blimped, snapped out of existence.
So yeah, they do explore that.
That, of course, was covered in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, he does say that. Not well though. They have like one character being 5 years older than everyone, and that's it. Like 5 years older than he was when. Yeah, he just exists there to be older and should be like the love triangle with
the
Zendaya.
other bit of world building they do is the fact that even if you blipped and it's 5 years later, despite obviously the dates being 5 years later, you're still the same age, so you can't drink if you're underage.
But that was the joke, wasn't it? That Peter got blipped away, and so someone that was in the joke was that someone in the year below him is now 4 years older than him.
Yep.
I like how the only other bit of world building that film does is to do with a drinking joke.
Yeah. They have Flash being like, "Oh, I want to drink." Zendaya's like, "No, he was blipped." Haha. Very funny. They don't even explain how that will work. If like people who were blipped, if like their ID would have something like, "Oh, I was blipped, so like I'm not actually this old."
Well, yeah, it would be nice if they had a blipped on, like with like a blipped, and it'd be like a yes or no, and one is circled or something like of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't explore that because Far From
And
Home
you'd
doesn't
have that
world
in like
building.
the sort of like next to the age or like date of birth.
Yeah. Yeah, just have a little sticker that says blipped or some shit. Like not a sticker. You know
Just
what I mean.
part of the passport.
Yeah,
or
something that says that you were blipped. But yeah, Far From Home doesn't.
I just love how he goes Far From Home, does it, ignoring Sam's nephews.
Oh yeah, they actually do that with Sam's nephews. He says they were
And his
babies when I
sister.
left, and then now they're 5 years older. And his sister, who had to live for 5 years, keeping the boat afloat, even though her brother was dead, so she did that on her own. So yeah, they do address that. I mean, the entire
almost
point
like-
of the Flag Smashers is that they live these 5 years without the other people, right?
They prefer how the world
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, because it was all
during the
united and
blip,
everything.
because the world was now not completely adjusted, but it was getting better. I think their claim is.
Yeah, they said that
Yeah,
the
that
world
right.
was united and the people were trying to help each other, and now like people that everyone's back, people are just like claiming ownership over things, and the world, like the borders are back to like country borders getting back to existing when they're mostly ignored at that point. So during the blip, during the snap, so it's quite an interesting thing that they do with the Flag Smashers. I like it.
There would have been a more interesting story as regards to that for just a show. That's just by the by.
They do show
But of
it,
course,
so.
in this series as well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's about poor Black Sam wasn't made Captain America. Now they've passed it to
No,
Chris-
he
Well,
chose
he
not
was
to
back-
be.
He literally was made Captain America, and he chose not to be. You fucking moron.
Hills, I know,
God.
this is the problem with these people. I know you don't like the fact that maybe some issues that are more on the left side of politics are being addressed, but that doesn't mean you get to blatantly lie about the show. Like, I understand if you have criticisms without reasoning, but this is complete bullshit. And again, this is the only instance that we're seeing that Falcon's victimized because of race in this entire show, and we're 2/3 of the way through. You're making shit up.
God, imagine the takeaway being that this show is all about racism because Falcon wasn't made Captain America because he's black.
Yeah, that's the weirdest fucking take. Like, I have no clue how someone would come up with something like that.
Yeah, they literally try and push Falcon to be Captain America with the roadie scene, and he still turns it down.
Mhm.
If anything, I'm just annoyed that they didn't follow through with it because it kind of makes the end game seem a bit hollow.
I disagree because at least I think they're trying to build up to a Winter Soldier becoming the new Cap. Because he even says, "Oh, I'm taking the shield from John Walker," and I feel like it's in character for Falcon, and it also explores a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I imagine next episode there's going to be a big like taking of the shield.
I wonder if it's like the writers actually want to give either Falcon.
Well, I've said before that I think maybe what they may do is like give both Falcon and Winter Soldier the mantle of Captain America, as like, because like the mantle is more of the values they stand for and everything rather than just the shield itself, and then they're gonna like carry on the Cap's values, and I guess Bucky would be the one to use the shield. But yeah, I don't know. You gotta see where they're going with it. Cop Wizo in chat, also great name change. He asks, if people were on a cruise ship and in the sea, would they fall into the water once they come back, or do they come back on the ship? Well, I imagine like since Hulk had a fucking gauntlet that can literally alter reality at his will, when he snapped, he also wish for people that were coming back to come back in safety. Like, I don't think that's far-fetched.
Dude, what if you were on an aeroplane?
Yeah, like a lot of people ask that, so I just imagine Hulk was like, if people aren't in a safe place when they come back, just have them be in a safe place. I don't think it's far-fetched at all.
The only thing I would assume is like they just reappear in the aeroplane wherever it currently is. Dude, what if like they reappeared but they were standing in the exact same place, but that someone is standing in right now, and you just phased into another person? Like they burst out of them, chest burster alien style.
Just have an alien moment.
What if you were on the? What if you were in the International Space Station?
I mean, just get him. They're just brought back inside the space station.
Well, no, but it rotates, so...
I mean, Earth also rotates, so if you're gonna be brought back, then the coordinates would be different. So that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, just be brought back at where they were in terms of, like, Hulk is like, okay, so I'm gonna snap, and they're gonna come back to, like, where they were in relation to, like, time and space or whatever, just to where they left. And then if that means they're not safe, to just have them be safe, unless stated otherwise. But if the MCU does state otherwise in terms of that, I think that is really retarded and would fuck with Hulk's character.
It's think about is like, what would be the worst place you could be? It's like you could be working down in a mine, and in the last 5 years they sealed the mine.
Yes, that would be a terrible one. Yeah.
Oh no.
Kurt Russell's. Oh, it's about systemic racism. Sam gave the shield up in the first episode.
Yeah.
He gave it up. He said no.
So you admit it wasn't that they didn't let him be Captain America?
Just because Sam gave it up didn't mean that America wanted to give up on Captain America. Didn't want to give up on having a symbol.
Yeah, we know.
That's why they created John.
Yeah, that's why they create another symbol with John. So what is he saying at this point? I have no clue.
I don't know, because he also said a moment ago that Sam was denied being Captain America. Is that, but you just admitted he chose not to be.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
Also, I think what he's trying to make is that they went and did a Cap figure anyway, but to add, the reason why Falcon's mad is because the shield was meant to be kept in the museum, like he was told. He was never told about that.
He says nobody can live up to the mantle of Captain America other than Cap himself. So yeah, that's why he wanted to have the shield be be shown, like, to represent what Captain America is, what his values are, to have people ascribe to them, but not have someone actually be a new Captain America.
with what they discussed as well. They said it themselves. In these times, we need a beacon. We need that symbol. And then, of course, it's like, oh no, Sam got left out.
That's not. That's.
What's going on?
They disrespected his decision. They chose someone else to be Captain America, which is exactly the opposite of what Sam wanted. So much so that he didn't even want to be Captain America. It's not that he was left out. It's that he was disrespected and disregarded, which is something, you know, the show shows a lot to happen to him. So.
Or Black Sam.
What's
He gave it
Black
up.
mean?
He said no. Not that the shield should have even gone to him anyway. Sam is the Falcon. That's his persona. To try and pass on the persona of Captain America to him, which was done in the comics and failed as well, by the way, can I just stress, belittles the character of the Falcon.
Wow.
It says, hey, your character isn't strong enough.
So
to
why are
stand on
you
its
mad?
own.
So why are you mad that he wasn't made Captain America?
I don't get it. He literally rejects it. That's literally what you're saying. That you want him to do.
My head hurts.
Is it a good thing he rejected it then?
It's also it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's Schrodinger's decision. For fuck's sake.
You now need to be boosted up even further. You need to be propped up. Bullshit. Sammy's the Falcon. It made much more sense for Bucky to become Captain America.
No, it didn't.
It feels like he's just kind of having a. It feels like this is just turning into an Endgame run more than a Falcon and Winter Soldier run.
But even then, I don't think it's an issue in Endgame that Falcon is the one chosen rather than Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Falcon being the new Cap, or at least having the shield.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Here's the thing, like he
'cause
doesn't need to be Cap. He doesn't need to be Captain America.
it's just the shield. It's representative of what Captain
Yeah.
America is saying. It's
He's
like you carry on my values. You're gonna carry on like what?
It's more about the shield, really, than
Yeah,
what
what it
the
stands
shield
for.
represents. And that's probably what they're going to do. Hopefully, what they'll do in the show. You don't have to be new Captain America because the shield is the symbol. The man behind it's how the man behind the shield uses it. You know, something like that. Which I think actually would be cool little tie-ins. Like, you don't have to be Steve. You don't have to be Captain America. You can be you because you can represent the shield how it always was represented.
Mhm.
Well,
The
the
man who will, fight for the
Well, the-
country and the world.
thing is,
Be your own Captain America.
I hate when people go, "Oh, you need powers to be Captain America." It's like they literally
No.
tackled in Captain America 1. The reason why Steve Rogers is different is not due to physicality; it's due to his morals
heart.
and what he stood for.
Yeah,
It's who
the
you are.
scientist says to him explicitly, like what's bad is made worse and what's good is made better, and they chose him because of his morality and
Like,
the way he acts. Like that scene where he jumps on the grenade. That's like the defining moment, pretty much.
I think my theory for sort of the ending sort of theming, I guess, would be that there shouldn't be a new Cap because there doesn't really need to be. Like, the shield is the representation of, you know, what hope is to America / the world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the man. It's like I said, it's the person who's using the shield and what they do with it that matters. You don't need a whole new Captain America as a mascot to bring hope, really.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the show is going for.
Yeah, that you don't need to force these icons, and it's better to have
Mhm.
them like naturally happen, I guess.
Mhm.
Because Bucky was the Winter Soldier and is no longer technically the Winter Soldier because the Winter Soldier was the Hydra operative.
Yeah, let's make him Captain
And
America.
now he's no
Yeah, the guy who killed a bunch of people for Hydra for years, who killed Tony Stark's parents. Let's make him Captain America. That's clearly way better.
Also, there's the fact that would Bucky even accept it given how he perceives himself?
He definitely wouldn't. He definitely wouldn't, because he would blame. He still blames himself for what happened
Yeah,
all those
exactly.
years. There's no way in hell Bucky would even like think to accept it. And that's the whole thing. But with like the whole, if he was wrong about you,
then
he was wrong about me.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the whole thing is like Steve believed in him, like in terms of his like his cause in like Civil War, you know, and like literally, like I said earlier in the stream, with Bucky saying like this whole everything that Steve does in Civil War isn't worth it. That's what Bucky believes. Steve like still believed in Bucky, you know, trusted Bucky, and he's doubting himself because he thinks Steve maybe made the wrong decision with Sam, and that ergo makes him feel like, considering also with his dreams of him killing the people, like innocent people who had nothing to do with like his missions, but they were just there, that sort of regret, you know, like the show has nuance. There is nuance to the show, and the fact that people are just actively ignoring it. I have no problem with the show logistics wise being more flawed than I realize. I'm totally fine with that. But to claim there's no nuance and there's no real depth to the characters, it's just complete bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is.
No longer that. He's broken his programming. He's now trying to rebuild his life. The redemption arc for Bucky would have come in him going from Winter Soldier.
So you're saying the redemption arc
He's
that
still
starts
coming.
with the first episode of this show should
Which is still
already
going,
have
by the way.
existed by fucking Captain America giving him the shield? That's just jumping to the end of his arc. This is actually building up to you know, having a redemption.
You
It's just what?
To Captain
Why are you
America.
stupid?
That would have made more sense. Just
You guys mentioned President about how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really good. I've watched the whole thing, but I don't remember season 4 being good. Is there something I missed? Rewatch the show. That's all I'm gonna say. Season 4 is fantastic. It's like fucking 10 out of 10. Season 3 and 5 is like 9 out of 10. The rest is like 7 or 8. It's really good.
Season 7's a 9, I have, you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, season 7 is definitely a 9. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been rewatching it lately, and they've all been fantastic so far. Season 4 is basically a masterpiece. So
Yeah. Season 4 is so good. Ghost Rider.
season
is such a
4 of
good
what?
character.
Sorry.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. I've not watched. I'm afraid.
You should. Really
Me
good
either.
show. How dare you, Editron? Tin hasn't watched it either because he's a
I only
fucking
watched
retard.
Doctor Who, man. I've been actually
I haven't
watching.
watched that in years either.
I've been watching Classic Who, and I just watched Periods of Mars. It's good, but I don't think it was like 10 out of 10, which I think a lot of Classic Who fans claimed it was.
That's you only
Which-
say that
which
because you're
one's
an
best, sorry?
RTD show.
I mean, I am, because the RTD era is clearly the best era of Doctor Who. Fucking fight me.
The what of Mars? Sorry.
The Waters of Mars.
Second. Wars on Mars.
The
is
Waters of
fantastic.
Mars. Oh, yeah, I do like that episode. That's a good
It's-
one.
I'd say
It's
like
the best episode of New Who for sure.
Yeah,
It's
That
it's
and Heaven Sent,
unironically a
fantastic.
10 out of 10.
yeah.
That or Heaven Sent is
Yeah.
out of those two for me.
I like that Jeb literally said the same thing I did. We're just in
I
sync.
can't remember what I put. I made a list literally at Christmas of my top 10 Doctor Who stories. Let me get it, see what was my number 2. You can continue the video as I try and
So
find
what-
it.
just from a
was-
log perspective.
Sorry, what did you
So
say?
what was Heaven Sent again? I don't remember. the
Heaven
names
Sent
of-
is the
The
episode
Pig
with
Capaldi
Capaldi
episode.
right after Clara dies.
Where he's in the prison, the like confession
Oh,
dial.
and he's smashing through the big block of
Yeah,
permanent
yeah,
rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That episode is fantastic.
That's a good
It's a great.
The,
It's a- it's
the
an inner
problem is that
monologue.
Clara is a terrible character, but that episode is really good.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Clara's great in Face the Raven, to be fair.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I love it.
I was
I love
I was
Then-
great in
then-
that episode.
but then Hellbent then happens, and it
Doesn't that
fucks
mean the
everything.
But then the Doctor becomes like 1 billion years old.
Well, he keeps killing
really.
himself, and
Yeah,
then
he kills himself every time it happens. So even though he spent 12 billion years, it's like every time, it's like a new version of him that spends those, like, I don't know, a day or two in the no, it's more than a day. Well, anyway, it's like every time it's a new version of him. So he isn't like 12 billion years old. He older than he was before. He's about as old as
Does the version of him go back to the age he was when he first got poofed?
Well,
or
so the
does,
thing
like,
is, when
the
they
day he
say how it
spent-
works, that he dies every time the thing catches him, and then he pushes a
'Cause
button
he'd
to
still
teleport
age by
another
a
version
day.
of himself. So the version who was teleported is the exact version that just appeared in Face the Raven. So he doesn't
Right,
age
okay.
because it's one version of him dies and the other one is brought back, and it's the same version that was alive before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's explained in the
Midnight's a
episode.
good
It's
one
pretty
as well.
good. Yeah.
Midnight's a pretty good one as well, and
But
that's
this-
just one fucking room.
Midnight. Is that the one on
Midnight
the
is-
train or?
yeah, it's where they're on
Midnight is the
planet.
yeah. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's
I really like
probably it's Tennant's second best performance for sure.
Turn
Truth be
left,
told, I
empty
think my
train.
favorite's got to be the 2 episodes in the library.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
Silence
That
in the
one's
Library is
pretty
really good. Yeah.
That's definitely that's in my top 20 along with Heaven Sent.
Because I already had like a fear of the dark, so it's like,
Oh
my
yeah,
God,
so
same.
good.
That episode
I'm
is
never
really
Yeah,
being
good.
in a dark room ever
I've got
again.
what a great just like simplistic ideas. It's really good. It's really creative.
Don't Blink as well. No, wait, I didn't.
Blink
The
is
first
good.
episode, the first episode, The Angels, is like okay, but I didn't care for the characters all that much. I think it was like
Really?
Ooh,
Did you not like
ooh,
Blink?
That's a hot take and a half.
I liked the next time they did The Angels with Matt Smith more.
Ooh, that's
a hot
unpopular
take.
to say that the second appearance is better than the first, or the episode at
I
least
think,
is
I
better.
think it's just because like I wanted to see David Tennant interact. I wanted to see the actual Doctor interacting with this
Sure,
concept.
I would
of a
like to see it
creature, 'cause
too,
the-
but I actually think
creature
Sally's a
itself was-
fantastic character.
the creature itself is so simple but so brilliant, and it's like I feel like we missed out like the Doctor dealing with that situation, as opposed to which it was the part I was grateful to see next time they turn up. Obviously, they then got like most things like the Daleks and what have you in Matt Smith's universe, they sort of got like overused.
Oh, they got overused and broken to hell. Yeah.
And what's the last one? The one where they wipe David Tennant's memory. And there's the skeleton, the scarecrow people.
Family of Blood.
Family of Blood. Yeah, that episode's
That's a good
fantastic.
one.
Too.
Yeah.
It's what
Anyway,
it's on
that-
third place on your list. Anyway,
Back to watching a video of
It's a cool
someone
perspective.
talking absolute bollocks.
But the show's not even thinking about those terms. The show
It does,
is
though.
only thinking like Hollywood think in superficial terminologies of race and color. Because
Oh, you're right there, Jeb.
Jeb just
Sorry.
ate his microphone.
This clip here of him just saying that aged real bad after today,
Yep.
after the
Yeah.
latest episode. He's aged real bad.
You can't say that the only thing the show talks about is race and color when there's only been 2 episodes.
And they don't even talk about Racing Color all that much. It has like 2 scenes in those first 2 episodes that like
They don't even
relate.
directly reference it as
Yeah.
well. Like we
It's
know
like
what it's
when-
implying, but it doesn't even say, "Hey, are you annoying this white guy, you black man?"
But it's like, what if like he says this, and in episode 5 they talk about dwarves for like the next 30 minutes, or they talk about like tax fraud or something like that, and that's just the entire episode. It's like all it talks about is race and color. It's like, well, And then that one episode where they just talked about biscuits.
Yeah, this is really strange to say, but I guess he wants to be angry at the show, so he's angry at the show.
Identity politics bollocks. And I unsubscribed anyway from Disney Plus because of what had happened with Gina Carano and whatnot.
No, yeah.
What not?
So they-
You're not gonna fucking mention what they did with shooting Mulan? No? Okay, never mind then.
No, it's got to be Carano. That's his
That
line.
was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I find it funny that that kind of appears like Virtue's England done it. They keep going, we're so against this Virtue's England bollocks to China, and then they're like, we're not cancelling over their treatment towards people in China. That's inhumane.
Yeah, it's retarded. It's generally virtual signaling, but for their side, so they think it's not.
Gonna get any of my money anymore. Who are?
They're
But
still
this
profiting.
show, nah, 2 episodes out. This scene was some of the most trash I've ever seen on a TV
You
show in my
haven't
life.
explained why, though.
And I watched
Yes, sir.
Batwoman.
Is he really comparing it to Batwoman? Wow.
Stop
Stop.
forcing your pathetic, hypocritical identity politics
Whereas-
into shows which are there to entertain people. One of the
Oh, hold on. One, where's the
No.
hypocrisy? 2, if you're one of those people that was expecting this not to really be about quote-unquote identity politics, or politics in general, I think you need a reality check, given that this is about American culture, the symbolism, and all that. That's literally what it's tackling. Like, can we stop this whole notion? If it's got politics in it, it must be SJW or identity politics. Like, because it blurs the line. The line used to be clear on what it was, and now it's like it seems anything could be. Batwoman is a clear example of it being hindrance to the writing. The sequel trilogy has that as a clear example with the behind the scenes. It's fucking ridiculous.
reasons why the Marvel Universe was so successful is because they were just fucking entertaining.
It still is.
But no. It's time to be taught. It's time to be
What?
educated.
What? Who said that? What is he saying?
You know what, Az? You know what, Az? I don't think you've been paying attention to the MCU in more of a analytical way, because if you had, you'd see a tweet cited Iron Man 1 about weaponry. You've got Winter Soldier, obviously, about corruption within governments. You've got Civil War. Iron Man 2, because the whole board situation with the senators.
I mean, even
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 2 has Rhodey stealing the suit from Iron Man, and then they work with Hammer, who's clearly not a moral person, but like they work with him because it's a means to an end, which fucks, which they don't realize it's gonna fuck them up in the end of the film when Whiplash is controlling the other the robot soldiers. So it's like military contracting with this corporation to make stuff for them that is clearly not moral and not checking over to make sure that it's working 100%.
Exactly. And then you got Iron Man 3 with the terrorists. You either got the 4 films, mainly 4, 1 and 2, dealing with the political affairs of Asgard. It's like you chat, and then the highlights of the MCU, if you count the shows as canon, has been when it deals with social commentary and political dilemmas. Again, New York's Finest is seen as the best MCU content that's ever existed.
Yeah, and I was watching season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just as Daisy becomes an inhuman, and I'm just like, the way they deal with that, with the discrimination towards her, even from her own team, like from Gemma and Mac and Bobby and everything. And it's like, wow, they actually are dealing with how like if you like people who don't accept change, and like they have to deal with how Sky changed. Like it's not she is still a good person, but they like are scared of her now, and it's like that is dealing with how that works. And then you have that in season 3 and 4 with them working with the fucking with that terrorist organization. What's the name? The Watchdogs going after the Inhumans.
Yeah.
So it's like that's all political in a sense, and I'd say that's like the highlight of. I mean, that is the highlight of Agents of Shield, the season 4 with the Watchdogs and Ghost Rider, and then it builds up to the framework in the second half. So it's just
It's like,
Yo-Yo also gets it. It's a bit from a friends in Miami.
mhm.
yeah, it's like most of the MCU is actually, when you analyze it, it's actually political.
Mhm.
I mean, if we want to count political as like any time kind of like law or political ideal or government is mentioned, then yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I mean, Civil War is gonna be like inherently political. I mean, it is. So
I mean, Captain America as an entire portion of the MCU is the most political, so it makes sense that this is very political.
There's just different ways of doing it. Like the Civil War is based on a political loggerhead.
Oh, yeah.
Basically,
I literally said that at
entire
the
thing
beginning of
is
the
like,
stream.
Do we
It's
do we
really
do we be
complete, yeah.
conformist or do we preach like Marxism or conformism? But it, yeah, I got understand is like, but you can't get away from it. There will always be people like you only need to look at Reddit and Twitter to know there are people out there that will see a concept as a film and then champion it as like a gramophone that they can or a megaphone they can speak through. Like it's about this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
This show deserves to crash and burn. 100%. It's garbage.
Jesus.
It's
Fucking hell.
boring and it's garbage and it's pandering and it's taken a really good character in Sam Wilson,
Well,
who I
haven't
love.
explained why it's pandering or
Captain
bad,
America and the
please.
Winter Soldier is my favorite of the Marvel films.
yeah, hot take. It's not that good. Though.
Oh no.
Yeah, about that.
And the thing is, this extreme behavior
Cringe.
is kind of proving the point that it's trying to make, that people just don't want to accept these issues exist and fast change is needed.
It's what you said in the beginning of the stream, that people don't like change and therefore they're not going to accept that change is needed. So
Yeah, like we it's no harm in saying we as a species are inherently against changes because it's outside our comfort zone. It's outside of what we know.
Yeah. But it's like it's one of those like you gotta let the. This is why I don't really want to do videos discussing a film or a series before or during its release.
Right.
Mhm.
Because I haven't had time to sit and gestate on it. The dust hasn't settled. And I will look back and I will say, oh, I said some stupid shit and now it's on the internet. So like if I was to ever do a review of this show or WandaVision, I would wait at least a couple months
Yeah.
before I even start writing. And like, I mean, I wouldn't do it for WandaVision because my fucking god, at this point, it's already been. There are some times you don't need to sit and wait. But unless this goes the same way, and as it stands, I don't think it will. This will be one of those things that you look back on and be like, now it's time to sit back and like comb through the details.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, if you're going to do something like this, you have such an adverse reaction. it's good to sometimes let it sit for a while and you rewatch and you take notes
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
to
exactly.
why it's bad. Like, I really despise the Utopia remake, but I'm taking notes as to the reasons why the remake is shit instead of just saying, oh, I don't like it, because it's it's the fucking point of us, of this fucking community, of separating your feelings from what it actually is. And it seems like a lot of people, especially from the fandom menace, they cannot separate their feelings from what the things they're talking about actually is.
And that's because of the great villain in The Winter Soldier and the
I can't wait
Great
for
villain, Bucky.
I can't wait for SK's video to come out to disprove everything he's saying about the Winter Soldier.
I'm looking forward to that.
relationship that developed between between Captain America, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. Got it right this time. I said Black Canary last time by mistake. And Sam Wilson, the new person to join the crew. But now Sam's he's just a poor black guy, reduced down to a poor, victimized black guy. Go fuck yourself.
The
It's
latest
not-
episode
victimized,
really
though.
makes this age real bad.
I just
This is
I don't get it.
this is why I kind of given up on society, because like I know that sounds drastic, but Buzz could attest to this. You just hear this all the time. It's always pushing that line further and further to explain why these things don't happen. And it's like, can you stop shutting down the conversation as soon as it's either brought up in media or in anything? Can we have a genuine discussion about what it's trying to explore, for a second? And why is it trying to tell us this? Is there a reason, which seems to be the case given the real world currently, instead of just going, well, it's victimizing black people as poor black people? I'm like, that's so narrow-minded, and that's why change can't be incited, because we keep being narrow-minded and closed off, because the reality is we don't want to discuss uncomfortable topics. We don't want to deal with it. And it's like, no, the reality is we're going to have to. So that's why we need media to have these undertows to an extent, so we can have those conversations, so we can use them. Media is the reflection of the current world, and always has been. Stop pretending it isn't.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jeb. Well done. I'm glad we have Hagrid in this call to give us this knowledge.
Thank you.
You do him a disservice. You do the character a disservice. You do the people that set your universe up beforehand a disservice. You piss all over it with your
Fucking
identity politics.
Look
Get outta
back on
here.
this video when we can look back on this video when Falcon gets made Captain America and just be like,
Yeah, never mind.
that's
That's,
awkward.
yeah.
Which is entirely possible still. So he did the character disservice. What if they make
2
him?
episodes left, so
They could make him god of the world. You did him a disservice, and then at the end of this, he's the best thing ever. This. So this was a lie.
I mean, yeah, he
Well,
can't
you
say
were
something
just-
like
you were
this
just
2
wrong.
episodes in, unless it was a blatant
why
character assassination, but he wasn't, so.
This is why I'm not a huge fan of people or content creators. They do videos on the regular because obviously they're trying to beat the algorithm, and I get it. But I feel it's just more important to have something well researched and meaningful and important to say than trying to meet a quota to release on a regular schedule. And it's a shame that obviously YouTube works that way, but you are going to end up saying not a lot at all, or what you are going to say is going to be inaccurate within a week. And that's a personal preference. I'm sure obviously they're having a great time, and obviously they're getting success from it, and it must be quite fulfilling, and good on them.
I mean,
You
sure,
gotta
but
understand,
it's just
you can't sit there thinking you've got the objective take
yeah.
on this kind of shit.
Oh, it's quality
Because you-
versus quantity, and they put
You
out
don't.
a bunch of videos, and they just don't research enough, and that's why like Critical Drinker, his videos have gotten so bad in the recently. So it's just he wants to put out a video every week, and he talks about topics, and he doesn't know what he's talking about, and his criticisms are always retarded. So
Hope the vid. If you do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel.
no, I don't
Follow me
think
on
I will.
social media
I
and
don't think I
YouTube for
will.
live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye
Why
for
does he
now.
put a video over his face? Is he retarded? On the fucking end card. Anyway, that was the video. Yeah, not a very good video, I'd say.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Wow, we've gone for almost 4 hours. Yeah, I'd say we proved our point enough. What we were talking
Very
about.
annoying because he's again he Heels is very capable of making great and interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's
Very entertaining, well informed. Again, it's one of those I want to get this shit out because it's relevant, and I have things like mental notes to say that I probably thought of in the shower or on the bog.
yeah. I can attest that Hills can make good content. Even his Last of Us 2 stuff was pretty great. But since it enters the political realm, logic goes out the window a lot of the time. And it's a shame, really.
Yeah, it seems that way for a lot of content creators, to be honest.
It's why I'm glad Mauler, Rags, Fringy and such kind of remain apolitical, because they know that's not really needed to argue their film quality or
It's
media
also not
quality.
it's not what people go there for either.
Exactly.
No, I don't.
So yeah, so today, yeah, we covered the topic of SJW content. What is SJW? What isn't? We talk for way more than I thought we would. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Vice for jumping on halfway through the stream. We had a good conversation, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. Channels for everyone who was here is in the description. And if you want to check out their content, they all make good content, except for Zod, who hasn't made content yet. Oh no, actually you have your Q&A, right? So you have at least more content than Tin, so that's good.
Shut up.
So yeah, we'll catch you guys later. We watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, watch Legion. Bye.